Lounge Radio. With your hosts, Dark Sakura, Sky, and Loki.
This week, one cloud gaming service attempts to make a comeback using your existing library of games, and another adds more devices to be able to stream from. Not to be outdone, the Ouya wants you to play their games everywhere with plans to become a service over the course of 2014. All this and more on the show where every gamer has a voice.
Orange Lounge Radio.
Hello, my friends out there on the internet, and welcome back to another week of the show where every gamer has a voice. It is Orange Lounge Radio, episode number 543 for this March 9th of 2014. And we're here over the next few hours to talk about video games, gaming culture, and the gamer lifestyle with you guys in our chat room live at the Voice of Geeks Network, vognetwork.com, where we do tape live Sunday nights at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern, right after the Bobby Blackwolf Show. And here in studio, of course, my name is Rob Roberts, and with me by my side, as she always is, unless she runs off to Disneyland or something, say hello to Dark Sakura or Jamie Summers.
Because I got fussed at last week. Sup, bitches?
Sup?
Sup?
Sup? How you doing?
I'm tired.
You're tired? Well, try not to fall asleep during the
No,
show.
I'm not. I'm just sort of, I feel off kilter because of the time.
I know it's a 3-hour show.
No,
and
the day is weird, and it's weird outside and weird the things.
Daylight savings time is quite the evil holiday, isn't it?
Holiday?
Well,
I don't celebrate
I don't know.
it.
Holiday. Here's why I call it a holiday, because they put it on a calendar, and so it's in the holiday section of the calendar.
Warning. It's a fuck.
You're gonna have a bad Sunday because of daylight savings time. Well, I was suggesting on Twitter, I said, let's just get rid of it. I'm sure a lot of people are saying, but I actually have some friends that are like, no. I need the extra hour of daylight. That's a great thing. So, okay, fine. Can we just have this be the last time in our lives that we lose an hour of sleep? We're done. I'll give up the rolling it back and the whole good daylight savings time that comes in the fall, and then we'll never have to lose an hour of sleep.
Is that the daylight giving time or something? Daylight murder time because you're not saving it?
Perhaps. I don't know.
I had a weird day yesterday too, so.
Yeah. Well,
going out to the BFECA.
I heard, and if you don't mind me giving away all the details of your personal life here on air, I heard that you went out to Susanville, California.
Ugh.
Now,
Janesville, Susanville, some other dinky little place.
Here's the thing. Most of you out there listening have probably never heard of Susanville, and there's a reason for that.
It's teeny.
Well, and when you think of California, you think of places like the beach. You might even think about the snow, like Lake Tahoe. You might think about politics like Sacramento, where we're from. But you don't usually think about the middle of the goddamn nowhere forest like Susanville, right?
Well, this was up, we actually did a whole route. Okay, my best friend has a job that required her to go out and look at some places up around there. And rather than have her go by herself, I decided to be a good friend, and I said I would go help her out. She fed me, so it was great. And hanging out with Becky all day is really fun.
Right.
So, we went.
I would hang out all day with Becky. I hope you guys invite me next time.
Sure.
I can make. I've been to Susanville before. I hung out at the bowling alley like a true Susanville person would.
Well, it wasn't just Susanville we went to Janesville, which is even smaller, or Jamestown or whatever. And this is going through the really boring part of California. You going past Truckee, past Reno, because you have to cut through Nevada to get up there. And then you're just sort of in the middle of nowhere, and then all of a sudden you drive a little bit on, I think we're on the 38, and then you're in a forest. You're in a national forest. We went to Lake Almanor, so we circled back around to Lake Almanor, eventually getting to the Plumas National Forest and Portola, and then all of a sudden we're back out of the woods, and we were in the scenic woods with winding passages and babbling brooks and shit. And fucking deer, okay? There's pictures of the mule deer just hanging out in some guy's front yard. I took a picture of him. It's on my Tumblr.
Here's the thing. As much shit as we're giving Susanville and all this stuff, it actually is really pretty out there.
It's super pretty.
Yeah.
It's super pretty. And, I have to say...
fucking deer.
And fucking deer, I know. But I have to say that I really enjoyed the scenery. I mean, I got to see parts of California I've never seen before. I just don't want to do it for 16 hours again.
Yeah.
Because I woke up this morning and I was in pain. I was my back was bitch, you sat on me for so many hours.
Let me ask this, because it is a video game podcast. Did you get to do any 3DS gaming or Vita?
I played some Animal Crossing, and didn't tag anybody. Nobody I always tag the same person in Truckee every time I've been there. And
like the one person with a 3DS.
The one person I've tagged him twice, which I'm pretty sure I know who it is. I think it's somebody who works at Bespoke, which is where I go get neat typography cards.
Okay.
And the guy but it was a lady this time. The guy wasn't there. But Bespoke is a really cool little shop in Truckee. Mm-hmm. And, I go to the Truckee Candy Company and got fudge. And
I love that you kind of like, have you guys done this with the 3DS street passing? Like, you've kind of like narrowed down. Like, it's kind of like 3DS stalking.
Yeah.
But not like, I don't want to use the word stalking, but I can't think of a better word for it. Like, it's like the whole like deduction, like, I know who you are. Like, there's a random person I keep trading with that's got to be one of my neighbors, and I'm like, are they an adult? Because they might not be.
Well, I've started recognizing a couple of people I tag at the Land of Cubes and Tech. And I tagged there's this one girl at, like, I always tag her at the Starbucks. And for a moment, I thought she actually worked at one of them. So I said, hey, does somebody by this name work here? They're like, no, but man, I tagged this person too. Because I said it was on the... Right. So it was pretty cool. But yeah, I tagged somebody from Argentina this past time I was in Truckee, but the week before.
Nice.
But no one this time. So I grew a blue rose in Animal Crossing. So I'm trying to grow another one.
Did the grass finally grow back where Ed used to live?
Yeah.
All right. Look, he's been waiting there very patiently while we've been talking.
Loki.
We've been talking about fucking deer and shit, and we will make you wait no longer. Say hello via the Skype line, everybody, to Techmaster Loki.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, good. Sorry to make you sit through all that, but that was I love hearing about deer and stuff. Have you ever trekked out to the great unknown Northern California?
I've been a few places, but I don't think I've ever been to Susanville.
Well, you're not missing much, to be honest. You're usually the one that has to drive, so you don't get to do a lot of gaming on the long car trips, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, Techmaster Loki, of course, joining us via the Skype line once again here. If for those of you that have missed the memo, they had a baby about 7 weeks ago at this point. 8? It's almost 2 months, right?
Yeah, about like 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
So Loki is joining us via the Skype line while the wife is still healing from delivery. But Mrs. Loki's still doing A-okay, right?
Yeah, she's doing fine.
Awesome to hear. Hopefully, I don't know if we've planned the return date for Loki yet, but we're crossing our fingers and our toes that you'll be able to join us when we're back in 2 weeks at the new studio. Is that looking like...
I don't know yet.
Don't know yet. That's fine. We got to let Mrs. Loki heal up and all that good stuff, so Loki will have to take the time he needs. But tonight, of course, is the last episode in the studio that we're at currently. And I got to admit, with all the internet up and down time we have sometimes, I won't miss it in that regard. But Loki hasn't seen the place since before Christmas, so everything will be different for him when he finally does come back. Dark Sakura, any fond memories of studio apartment dumperoo that you're going to miss?
Well, I haven't passed out on your bed here. So I guess, and this is going to be a little sad, but I had very happy memories of cuddling with the kitties, with Maruko and Sanryo-chan, which they both had their name as Maru-chan and San-chan from me, and kind of answered to it. By the way, I found a picture of the fucking deer.
We are concerned how the cat's going to handle the move, but we think at the end of the day she's going to love all the extra sun that the new place gets. So we think that'll end up being an awesome thing. So let's see. So we will be off next week. Well, actually, I should say this. We are actually still going to do a show. We're going to do a show in advance. So it's not something that's going to be broadcast live. It's going to be an intentionally shorter show that we're going to tape during the week, and then we'll actually broadcast it on the feed at the normal time, and it will take our slot at VOG next Sunday, right after Bobby Blackwolf. So sadly, the interaction portion will be missing next week, but we will have something new for you guys on the feed, so you guys won't totally miss us. Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com, Rama says, Sky, better internet in the new studio? I hope so. It's to be determined. We don't know yet. We're really at the mercy of our provider, so I'm hoping it will be fine, but we will see. I can say this. We're going to have a lot more space. It's going to be back more to those of you guys excuse me, those of you guys that have been here since the days when we were in the actual like garage studio that we would broadcast on Justin TV because Twitch didn't exist then, it's going to be a little more like that. We're not going to be in a garage, but we'll have an entire section of the house about that big that we get to kind of dedicate to the studios because podcasting is such a big part of my life. So there's that. Also on tonight's show, coming up, I want to make sure I plug this. This was thrown together very last minute, but that's how we roll here at Orange Lounge Radio, and I'm actually very excited to welcome back an old friend of ours to the show. We're going to welcome back the Seg, and Seg, of course, has been here before, pimping some various projects he's been working on in the past. One thing he's going to talk to us about tonight is he's going to talk to us about a new game that's coming out this week, actually, and this game's got a bit of buzz around it, so we want to let Seg talk about this game and answer your guys' questions live. The game is called Dominique Pamplemousse, and it is about gender, the economy, and characters that burst into song. It's kind of like an episode of Glee. It's sounding like. I don't know. I'm gonna ask Seg how much this game has in common with Glee, but I will say it seems like the actors are all better looking because they're stop motion figures. So that's already a step up on Glee. So there you go. So we're going to talk to Seg about that probably at the top of Part B a little later.
There's quite a bit I could say that's a step up from Glee.
There is quite a bit. There's maybe that's not the nicest thing to do is to compare this game to Glee, but I'm actually trying to say it's better. It's better, guys. It's better.
Lots much better.
All right. Going to our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com, SSG100 Matt giving some tips on moving cats. I know it's a video game podcast, but hey, cat talk is important too. SSG100 Matt says, best way to move cats is to move everything into the house first, including the litter box. Bring the cat into the house with everything from the old place in it, so that way they recognize the scent of everything and be more at ease. Luckily, that's exactly our plan. So
we have with Shermie.
Yeah. We're going to move her when we move all the big furniture, but we're going to set up all the like litter and stuff in advance. So we fully expect she'll hide behind the toilet in the bathroom for a day because that's what she did when we moved here. So the more you know.
Well, I told you about Dan moving Shermie over to the house, right?
I
passed out,
so.
Took a nap.
Mm-hmm.
The last little thing in the house was Shermie in her bed looking around pathetically like, where are all my people? Where's all my stuff? So Dan comes in while I'm passed out in the bed, taps my foot, and then drops the cat on me in her bed and said, she was looking lonely. Here's the cat. And I'm like, Shermie. And then she died.
That's horrible. Why am I laughing? It's because the way you delivered that. You're awful. Oh my God.
Just couldn't help. I miss my Shermie. She was a good cat.
Well,
I know you miss Mariko too.
I know, but you have Midna.
I have Midna.
Yeah.
God, Midna's a little fucking brat. No. She's like, Mom, feed me. It's 5 a.m. Feed me, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
No, cat, busy. Oh, you're just sleeping. You're not busy. And Will stayed over with his dog Wintu. And the two of them were like, he tried to eat her tail, but not like she tried to eat Midna's tail, not in a malicious way, just in a, what's this kind of way? Chew, chew, chew. And Midna's like, bitch, literally. So anyway.
Let's get into our kickoff topic tonight. We're only like 13 minutes of the show. We haven't even hit our kickoff topic tonight. But this one's going to be quick because I'm going to actually ask some questions of Dark Sakura and Loki. Loki, you ready to answer some questions? I know Jamie's kind of been chatting away here at the top of the show. You ready to answer some questions?
All right.
Here's the deal. Here's why I'm going to ask some questions because I try to be hip. I try to be cool. Even as I'm getting older, I try to hang with the cool kids, and I stay on top of like all the latest and greatest in social media, and I try to figure out, how can OLR or VOG or Horde House or whatever project I'm working on, how can we embrace social media? So one of the sites that I got turned on to recently was a site.
Can we kiss it?
Huh?
Can we kiss it?
You can try. You want to come over here and kiss it?
No.
It's a website.
You said embrace.
This is a new website called, well, I guess it's not that new. It's actually been around a couple years, but I'm treating it like it's new because that's what, older people do. It's a site called ask.fm. And I guess it's really popular with like the probably like high school crowd and stuff because what you do, you ask anonymous questions. Now, some people use this to ask mean questions, but I put this out on Twitter. I said, hey, ask me whatever you want anonymously. It can be about OLR. It can be about anything. Ask me whatever you want. because I've been very fortunate in the position I'm at here at OLR, where sometimes I get questions about, like, from people that might be wondering, like, how I came out or whatever, and are struggling maybe with something similar with that themselves. So I wanted to just put that out there. Hey, if you want to ask something anonymously, go for it. I'm pretty much an open book with 3 shows a week out there on iTunes anyway. Ask. So I've been getting a variety of questions, but some of them have been video game related questions. So I thought I would give some of this Ask FM and share some of this Ask FM joy with Dark Sakura and Loki. So you guys want to answer some of the questions that I've got on Ask FM this week?
Sure.
You really don't have a choice, because here it goes. Okay, so one of the questions I got: if you were an RPG class, which one would you be and why?
A class?
Yeah, like a white mage or a fighter or a... It doesn't... my mind goes to Final Fantasy, but maybe not necessarily Final Fantasy.
I would be the fuck shit up bitch. No.
I don't think that's a class.
I don't know. I've taken like a bajillion different quizzes as to, what class. Because I like answering the stupid fucking quizzes. Mm-hmm. So, like, for my Homestuck thing, I always get Sylph of Heart. Mm-hmm. So, which is like a healer class.
Okay.
For most of the others, like, I really love Summoner. So I'd probably be a Summoner.
You would summon the creatures of the world to kill things for you.
Yeah, and then I'd sit back and read a book while they kill shit.
Okay, that sounds very Jamie. I like that. How about you, Loki? If you were an RPG class, what would you be and why?
I don't know.
These questions aren't always easy, is it?
Well, I just normally play like kind of middle of the road everything. So like in Final Fantasy 11, I guess that was Red Mage, but something like that, I guess.
You'd be like Edgar in Final Fantasy VI.
I think so.
Sure, why not?
Mechanist? Or...
Yeah, a mechanist or something like that.
Or if it was Ragnarok, I think you'd be a blacksmith.
Yeah, where he kind of the tech guy.
Which, by the way, playing a blacksmith is pretty fun in Ragnarok.
But it has to be a tech guy that never fully masters a class. For Loki. He gets to like 90% and then switches to a different class. That would be Loki. Here's the next question. And remember, guys, I did not brief Dark Sakura and Loki on these questions in advance. We're doing this live, so these answers are very very raw and might take them a second. And if you guys want to answer, go to live.vognetwork.com. Queen Simia says, I'm most likely Blue Mage because I depend on being able to imitate things really well for work. You know what? That was actually my answer. I said I would be a Blue Mage and absorb the powers of my enemies and turn around and use those powers against them. That was my answer.
I do kind of like whatever the Mughals do in 6, where they just dance.
They dance. It's a dancer.
They shake their ass at you, and then you die.
All right, awesome. Raginator says he's a berserker. So there you go. All right, here's the next question. Loki, I'll start with you. What's the largest amount of time that you've clocked playing a video game?
That would probably be Final Fantasy 11, if I'm guessing.
I had a feeling. Why that one?
Because that's the one I played the longest amount of time, I think. Even like Grand Theft Auto 4 could be a close second. I don't remember the actual stats on that because I don't think they actually track time. But I mean, I played enough to where I was at like because we used to do private games, so unranked private games, and we were at the top of the list. I don't know why they kept score on that, but we were at the top of the list for that. So I played a lot of that.
All right, very good. Dark Sakura, what's the largest amount of time you've clocked playing a video game?
Well, if you want to count just actually being logged into the game, Ragnarok Online, I did stay logged in for an entire week because I'd keep switching to my merchant.
Yeah, because you have to do the merchant and you have to AFK on purpose.
But I told you about the week I skipped school to play Final Fantasy 6 or 3 as it was over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that. Mm-hmm. Woke up in the morning, played the game, went to bed. I beat it in a week. And I was taking my sweet time, too, just wandering around and writing shit down. I wrote myself a strategy guide, Rob.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, because I used to be really super anal and take notes and draw maps and shit. And I probably played that game like... Yeah, I would sleep and then get up and play that game some more. And then... So that's probably... the most continuous, but I mean, keep in mind though, I've been playing Animal Crossing since May last year.
Yeah, and honestly, has the game changed?
Every day?
Has the game changed that much since the GameCube?
Yes, a little.
You've kind of been playing it consistently since 2002.
Well, no, not consistently, because remember, I kind of quit the other ones, but this one I've really been enjoying, and I have a Blue Rose now, so shut up.
Now that I think of it, maybe even Dance Dance Revolution, I guess, as a whole,
that's
would
true.
be probably the most.
I'm thinking of those sessions of playing. Like,
Yeah.
how long have you sat and gamed consecutively?
My answer to this was World of Warcraft, obviously, for the same type of thing, just with everything there was to do in that game and the social aspects of it. But I also tried to give a non-MMO answer, and I said, honestly, what comes to mind is Mass Effect 3, and that's because of the multiplayer mode in large part. Like, I didn't play through it 17 times or whatever like Dark Soccer did, but it was that multiplayer mode was a great, like, last year I spent a lot of time playing that.
Actually, I'm going to say as far as continuous gaming goes, like actually being up and playing the whole thing, the first Mass Effect that I marathoned my second time through.
Which is so funny because, and I was guilty of this too. We both, and this was another question that I'd got earlier, was something along the lines of, what was a game you completely misjudged the first time you played it? And I said Mass Effect, easy.
Mass Effect.
I know you did that too. Loki, what about you? I'll throw that question out there too. What was a game that you completely misjudged the first time you played it and went back and loved it?
Once again, going back to the longest time played, it's not a video game, but Qzar. I played over 500 hours of that.
Wow.
And then Minecraft. I didn't get it at first.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Minecraft. I remember you didn't get Minecraft at first either, and you talked about that on the show. All right. I got one last question for you guys, and then we'll get into our gaming weeks and housekeeping and all that. And this one's a good one, and this is very characteristic of the type of questions we really get on Ask.fm. Dark Soccer, I'll start with you, because I already know. I think I know what one of them's going to be.
Oh shit!
Based on looks alone, what 2 video game characters would you date, and why?
See, I'm not like an aesthetic person. That's the thing. I don't care about what someone looks. I care about the person behind it. Okay, I would go by, I could say by voice. I mean, I know definitely who I'd do. But based on pure aesthetics.
Okay, yes.
Pure aesthetics. Fuck balls.
Dish, girl, dish.
God, I'm trying to think, because actually, I can tell you who my first video game crush was.
Okay.
It's Ryu in Street Fighter.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah, Ryu would be on the list, even though he's like kind of old and grizzled now. He's still awesome.
Yeah.
And then Strider Hiryu.
Those are good answers.
Yeah.
I like that.
But that's based on aesthetics. If you wanted to go for hotness and voice, I could tell you that.
I was gonna say I was gonna sit here and think Garrus. I mean,
well, he's not really very pretty, is he?
Yes, but the voice. Once you started to talk about the voice, I was like,
okay. If I was if it was a Mass Effect character and I was going to go for pretty, the Bishoden of the game is Thane, pretty much, because he's there to be, sleek, lizardy, and pretty, and have his own spotlight and glimmer and make you hallucinate if you lick him.
And the Citadel is so good with him, so good.
But as much as I adore the character for Garrus, a lot of the, I would say, attraction for the character has to do with, that whole attitude and the voice. And I admit I like the spiky bits. That's kind of cool. But I don't know. I just don't think about outward appearances. So
it's fine.
I'm saying who's pretty. Strider Hiryu is pretty.
I actually when I answer this question on my own page, I put, you're making me superficial with this answer. But I ended up saying, I said Nathan Drake from Uncharted, because what can I say? I like scruff and that stuff. And I also said default male shepherd for Mass Effect.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think he's all that hot.
Oh, whatever. That's because you're team femshep purity.
Okay.
By the way, team femshep purity means there's no such thing as male shep. There's he doesn't exist in their minds.
You know what? I am gonna fuck. I was sitting here thinking about it, and you know what? I am gonna go back and put Garrus on my list. Garrus and Strider Hiryu.
Okay.
I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because actually, I did think the spiky bits were awesome, and I did like the voice, and I did like the walk, and that's why I started playing Mass Effect to begin with, anyway. So.
All right, fair enough.
Can I have 3?
Sure, take all you want.
Okay, I want Ryu, Strider Hiryu, and actually, you know who's better than Hiryu?
All right, it's a 3-hour show, Dark Sakura, not 17.
Genjiro and Samurai Showdown.
All right.
Was one of my other ones. But okay, so fuck.
All right, Look, the listeners are dying to know.
And I've been sitting here like not looking at chat, so I can't be influenced by anything going on.
They're all saying Garrus. Oh yeah. Clerical Error 404 says Chris Redfield and Bayonetta for me. Bayonetta's really
Bayonetta's hot.
Really hot.
All
right.
I'd hit that.
Hold on though, we got to go because the chat, everybody in the universe.
I do not like Liara. She just needs to
settle down. The entire universe is dying to know. Loki, based on looks alone, what 2 video game characters would you date and why?
Well, clearly at the top of my list, if we're going by looks alone, it's got to be the Native American woman from Custer's Revenge. I mean, those pixels.
Win. You are awful. You're an awful, awful person. Come on, Loki.
Let's see, what else? I don't know. They're video games. I guess we'll pick Kinsey from the Saints Row series.
Okay. Because
she's this like hot nerdy chick that's into S&M. So that'd be kind of cool.
Okay. I'm with you. And then number 2.
No, that was number 2.
No, that was you were serious about that. All right, fair enough. All right. God, of course our chat room they're dying over there after hearing that one. All right, love it. Game Guru in chat says it perfectly. Game Guru over at live.vognetwork.com. Loki is magnificent troll.
I mean, if we're doing by aesthetics, then I guess you could say Mama because, at least she'd be cooking something. So there's that plus to it. I mean, because everybody else is just video game characters. I mean, they're really good at killing things. I mean, that doesn't do me any good.
Mama does do the cooking and the gardening. And the baby.
And the crafting, so yeah.
You're a bad man, Loki. All right.
I have another person out of my list.
What?
Rex.
See, once you got started on the Mass Effect thing, now there's no turning
back.
Oh,
come on. Right. How lame is it that Rex wasn't romanceable?
See, originally when you said Rex, because I didn't play Mass Effect, I thought you were talking about Metal Gear Rex, and I'm like, wow, that's weird.
Okay, I'd probably go after Snake, too.
All right, look. Enough. We're done with the...
You want to hide in this box?
Did you hear what you just said?
What?
Do you want to hide in this box?
Sure.
All right. Gaming weeks. What types of video games have you been playing this week?
What haven't I been playing?
It's important to establish the frame of reference we come from this week. Darsaka, how was your gaming week?
I did stuff.
You all right over there?
Chat.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Queen Simia says clang, 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 baby.
All right, put chat down and tell us what your gaming week was.
Okay, I played some stuff. I actually did play Mass Effect 3. I have played some Final Fantasy 14. I played a shit ton of Animal Crossing and a shit ton more of Animal Crossing. And I have a blue rose. Damn. And I played some of that stuff we're moving on from on the website just to hear how awful my voice is. And I haven't been playing Bravely Default because I'm still fucking playing Zelda. And I need to actually put some time into Zelda, which I will be able to do once I am done with Other Job. And I am going to be done with Other Job this week. And, and Ronchan, I don't know. I respect Patty greatly, but I don't know. There might be some fighting going on over that bandana. But yeah, it's not like a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, and I bought a game that's called Year Walk that I'm probably going to be starting tomorrow night, to be honest, because it was really interesting. It's based off of I think they said it was a Swedish concept of a year of walking or something, or a walk of a year or something. But it looked like it was a really neat kind of first-person game, so I bought that and I'm going to play it. And and I've also been playing like some weird mahjong game that's like it changes the tile puzzles every stage that you get. It's so weird, but it's kind of addicting. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. Some stuff.
All right, let's go over to Loki. Loki, how was your gaming week?
I didn't play a whole ton this week. I did get to play a lot more of South Park, The Stick of Truth, and the game is just awesome. I mean, the aesthetics of the game alone, it's like I'm watching the cartoon. It's fantastic, and the humor in it's great, and there's so many small references to like all the different episodes in the series. It's seriously packed with so much fan service. It's ridiculous.
I can't wait to play the game, but I haven't been able to tackle it yet. But it's definitely on my to-do list.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
All right, that's it. Just South Park this week for you?
A little Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and yeah, I think that's it.
All right. My gaming week wasn't too thrilling, but keep in mind I'm going through this. Just keep in mind I'm going through this whole move thing right now, so I don't have a whole lot to share besides I've been playing Diablo 3 quite a bit. Click, find treasure, click, adventure is Diablo 3. I've actually finally hit max level, and I'm going through the Paragon levels. I think at last check I was Paragon 9 was where I was at in the game. So yeah, quite the turnaround from not really caring for Diablo a lot at first, but now I've been playing more and more of that. The 2.0 patch really did great things. The 50% experience boost they've got going right now is a great incentive to get back in there and check it out. So yeah, I approve of what they've been doing there with Diablo 3. And that's honestly, like, between that and Final Fantasy XIV, that's really it. I downloaded stuff to hopefully play some more things, but just with moving and everything, I haven't been able to do a lot. So that's that. So that's it for my gaming week. So let's go to housekeeping. Just a few quick things for you guys here, and then we're going to get into gaming news. Very important for housekeeping. If you haven't heard, it's been all over the network this weekend, but over at the Voice of Geeks Network, we have a brand new show that just joined the network over the weekend. That show is the Starboard Power Coupling Podcast, and we want to welcome them to the network. If you've heard of this show before, probably because Grandpa, one of the hosts of Horde House, which is on Wednesday nights, actually launched this show as a Star Trek fan podcast, and it's a lot of fun. I actually was honored to be a guest on the show this last week on episode number 5, and we talked about a particular episode of Deep Space Nine, and I was able to talk about some of my stories about going to the Star Trek experience and some of the live things, and yeah, they're very, very well versed on Star Trek, so if you're a fan of the show, we urge you to check out the Starboard Power Coupling Podcast. It is going to be a premiere show on VOG Network, meaning we play it before it hits the feed, and that will be Thursdays at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and then it's going to repeat on Fridays at 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. But guess what? We're going to do something new. We're trying some new things with the new shows we launched in 2014. We're actually going to preview a brand new episode of the Starboard Power Coupling Podcast. We're going to preview that episode tonight after OLR. So if you live listeners that like to stay up really late, we're going to play that show for you. And it actually happens to be that episode I was on this week. And it's the only time we're going to be able to broadcast this episode on VOG, because come Thursday, they'll be on episode number 6. So episode 5 will play one time on the feed. You're going to hear that tonight, a special preview episode after OLR. That's only for the live listeners. For those of you guys that are listening on the podcast feed, though, we urge you to go on over to vognetwork.com and check out the show. You can also check out the show on their website, starboardpowercoupling.com. All right, that's, I think, all I have for housekeeping. I know we've said this before. There is no show next week due to the move. We will not be here next week. We will be back in 2 weeks, but we will have a show that was priorly taped during the week that will play on the feed and on the podcast. So most people won't notice a hiccup, except the fact that next week's show will be shorter as a result. All right, let's get into the news. There's quite a bit that's happened this week, right, Loki?
That's right. One of the things that happened this week was Jack Tretton. He is stepping down as the president of Sony Computer Entertainment. And apparently his contract with Sony was up March 31st and is not being renewed. And apparently this is a mutual agreement. So I guess he's moving on to other things, and they're going to get some new blood as the president of the company, which should be interesting. As long as it's not, Kutaragi. We don't need cranny eating again. But yeah, so they're going to have, I guess, Sean Layden will be taking over as president. And he's been with the company for 15 years. So it'll be interesting. I know, I haven't really been too familiar with Jack Tretton, but I know he definitely made a good impression on people at last year's E3. So it'll be interesting to see how, if their focus changes any, or if they kind of keep on with what they're doing right now.
Yeah, this news kind of, I mean, it came out of nowhere in a way, but I mean, these sort of stories usually do, you know. These guys, they have their lives, and they, you know, sometimes look for other opportunities, as many of us do in our own lives, looking for jobs and so forth. So, you know, when I heard this news about Jack Tretton, I was a little surprised, because I was like, wow, he's leaving when things are going really well for Sony. But then I also took a step back and I said, you know what, he's leaving when things are going really well for Sony. I mean, Sony, during Jack Tretton's tenure, has really had some ups and downs. I mean, he came in at a time when Sony was really being shit on after E3, and he really helped to steer the boat around. And there was some low points. It was certainly not perfect, because, you know, the PlayStation hack and all that happened on his watch. But he did what he had to do to make it right and try to make PlayStation Plus a really great deal, which, you know, a lot of people are loving the PlayStation Plus. And, of course, the PlayStation 4, very successful. So, in many ways, you know, with all the news we've seen about how the PlayStation 4 has been selling, he's leaving in a way kind of at the top of the game. I mean, one could argue that, well, the Vita could be in a better spot. But, you know what? He's leaving on a high note. And I kind of go, okay, well, that, you know, you want to leave when things are on a high note. And we'll find out after his tenure, maybe if another company has snatched him up. Sometimes you hear about these things in advance, and sometimes you don't. Like, I think about when Don Matrick left Xbox really not that long ago. That was announced right away that he was going to Zynga. But, you know, I don't know. It was just a different situation over there.
Wonder how that worked
Could
out
he
for
be
him.
the new CEO for King?
God, I hope not. Don't even tease. That's awful. Well, I wonder too, you know, these guys that go that high up, he might not necessarily end up in the games industry. I mean, it's usually an assumption that they're going to end up in a tech place somewhere, but not necessarily. That's what I'm saying, not necessarily. SSG100 Matt in our chat room at live.vognetwork.com theorizing, saying, I wonder where he will go to next. Watch him go to Google or Moto. Hey, you know what? Nothing like that's out of the question. You know, Reggie Fils-Aimé over at Nintendo, very charismatic guy over at Nintendo. You know what Reggie Fils-Aimé, one of the jobs he did before he was at Nintendo? You know what company he was an executive for? If I'm not mistaken, somebody might call me out on this, but I believe it was Panda Express was the company he was with.
Don't say that while I'm drinking stuff.
But you like Panda Express.
I guess it's Pizza Hut.
I'd have to go back and look. I thought it was Panda Express, though.
Well, Bobby said Panda Express.
Yeah. I trust Bobby. Bobby knows. But yeah, and then, of course, obviously, they...
Now I want some freaking orange chicken.
Right? The hot and sour soup's the bomb.
I don't like hot and sour soup, but I love the orange chicken.
So...
God damn it.
Yeah, he was with Panda Management Company as senior vice president, and then he was also with VH1 for a while. He was also... Oh, this is why he's a badass, ladies and gentlemen. He was also a Pizza Hut. So both answers were right. He was senior director of national marketing at Pizza Hut. He was also at Procter & Gamble. And Reggie Fils-Aimé, you'll love this, Dark Sakura, head of marketing for Guinness in the United States. No wonder he's such a badass, right?
Fucking love Guinness. Now I want fucking Guinness and orange chicken, and I'm going to call it the Reggie meal. Why not?
Then you have to... but in order to fully be the Reggie meal, you would have to play a round of Mario Kart or something when it's done.
Then I'd throw up. I don't know. That just seems like a... Yeah.
Well, if you throw up, then your body wasn't ready.
And Dark Sakura has just died. Ladies and gentlemen, she has just fallen out of her chair and died.
My butt's half on the chair.
Rest in peace, Dark Sakura.
I'm calling this pulling a Bill Cosby now. Because did you watch Bill Cosby on The Daily Show?
No.
He kept falling out of the chair. It was hilarious. So I'm calling this pulling a Bill Cosby.
All right, fine. It's a good thing it's a radio show, Dark Sakura, and everybody can see you right now.
My back hurts.
All right, speaking of Reggie and Mario Kart, hey, Mario Kart 8 is gearing up, and you know they're going to really push the crap out of this game because this is a huge release for the Wii U. You know, we talked last week about how you're not going to be able to play Mario Kart 7 online anymore, and does it or does it not tie into this? I don't know. We'll find out. In fact, we have a very interesting email on the whole thing coming up later. We'll talk about that. Excuse me, but Mario Kart 8 is on its way out. And some very interesting sponsorships to try to get awareness out there. And one company that they've partnered up with to promote Mario Kart 8 is Pennzoil. Now, I get that Pennzoil is obviously a motor... If you guys don't know, that's a motor oil that they put in your car... And if you didn't know that, and you drive, you want to go get your oil changed
Pennzoil
once in a while.
Makes other additives and stuff. So
They do. That's true, and they're big in the racing circuit. Obviously, you see their.
oh my god, could you imagine the Mario NASCAR car? They need to get Danica to get rid of GoDaddy and advertise Mario.
Well, anyway, so Pennzoil announced on Twitter that they are teaming up with Nintendo to promote Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U, and they're actually planning a demo at South by Southwest, which is obviously a huge event down in Austin that they do. So, no surprise they're taking the game there. But it's just interesting that Pennzoil is kind of the sponsor. Usually, I don't know, that's just not usually the type of company I see partnering, but it obviously makes a lot of sense, even though Pennzoil is something I think of for real cars. And Mario Kart is very fake in a way. Like, look at some of the art for Mario. Doesn't it look like they're trying to make Mario riding Tron bikes best they can without it actually being a Tron bike?
Yeah.
And that whole thing. Loki, what do you think about the partnership between Pennzoil and Mario Kart?
I don't think it's that big a deal. I'm just wondering if we're going to see in-game advertisement for Pennzoil and for all these other companies that they're partnering with, because maybe they're not confident enough that the game will make enough money on its own. But I mean, as far as like partnering with other retailers and different things for certain games, it's not anything new. I mean, hell, they have merchandising with Connects and stuff for toys, so why not?
Some folks in chat correcting me. Dark Tetsuya said, I said Mario Kart 7, and I think you meant Mario Kart Wii. Mario Kart 7 isn't... Yeah, I misspoke. Mario Kart 7 is 3DS. Sorry. Yes, I meant Mario Kart Wii. But I'm sure there's people playing Mario Kart 7 as well. But you can still play that through Nintendo Network as far as I know, so sorry about that. I did misspeak. Also in our chat room, Tiger Claw says it's a real-life Mario Kart, I guess, and he actually links me to the story. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Also, one other quick note on Mario Kart, because, it's not that far away, all things considered, for such a huge game, just a couple months away. Mario Kart's going to get a limited edition in Europe for Mario Kart 8. It will come with a spiny shell collector's item. Yes, you can have your very own blue shell. No word if it will work if you throw it at people on the freeway, however.
It has a tail, but like 2 buttholes.
Well,
it actually looks kind of like a face with a weird helmet on it.
That's where the leg goes.
I know,
that's where the other leg goes.
But it looks like either 2 buttholes or a weird face with a spiky helmet on it.
Well, how else is it supposed to rocket up to first place?
I approve of that fart joke.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. You can check that out. You can pre-order either retail or you can pre-order as a standalone game, and you can get a Mario Kart themed keyring. Again, that is all in the UK. No word if we have anything similar here in the US. Although I would think they're going to try to do something here in the US, especially for the Nintendo diehards, like even a soundtrack or something. Who knows?
If I were to guess, they'd probably announce something at another Nintendo Direct, usually between once they've announced the date for the game and when it comes out. But it's nothing so far that I've heard of.
Gotcha. So that's pretty cool that Mario Kart 8 is going to be at South by Southwest. I know people really want to play this game. Do you think Nintendo might have some hands-on availability soon for the game? Like, they've got those demo kiosks all over, like GameStops and stuff, right? Do you think they might have some hands-on availability really soon?
Maybe it'd be a good way to sell the system.
I would think so. I would keep an eye on that stuff, because I bet they're going to have the Mario Kart demos playable really soon at places like GameStop and all that stuff. So check that out. Because I seem to recall some of the other Nintendo stuff they had about 6 weeks before it was actually out there. Like, remember the E3 demos they had? I want to say Mario was available in the stores beforehand. So I would think you're going to start to see Mario Kart 8 like at the end of the month. So, all right, let's move on. More news. Dark Sakura.
I got some stuff. This is actually about Keiji Inafune. As we know, he's the guy who created Mega Man. But there is a 2D side-scroller game coming out for the 3DS eShop called Azure Striker Gunvolt, which is supposed to... You play as some dude named Gunvolt, and he has lightning powers, and he's trying to... he's actually running away from a psychic girl that he was trying to kill. But it looks like one of the Mega Man games as far as how it plays, but it's got some other stuff going on with it that just it's supposed to change exactly how it plays. And I was watching a little bit of the play, and it seems like it's pretty neat. He's also collaborating with Team Ninja on a zombie spin-off game called a zombie spin-off of Ninja Gaiden called Yaba. So, Azure Striker Gunvolt's going to be out in Japan in the summer, but nothing about the West, of course.
I had no idea. Like, I guess I just wasn't paying good enough attention. I had no idea that he was working on anything besides that Kickstarter project.
Yeah.
At all.
Well, this information came out from Gematsu. So he announced it at the Bit Summit Indie Games Festival in Kyoto.
Which is interesting because this is the type of thing that they could have sat on for like an E3 or something. But that's awesome that they did it at an indie game festival. So
that looks pretty neat.
Very cool. Yeah, I definitely want to check it out. Yeah. Loki, any thoughts on this game? Azure Striker.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hopefully, it doesn't get lost amongst all the other games I got to play this coming month. We're starting to get into a crazy time of year. So.
Well, good for you. It's going to slow down. So.
Oh, that's good. Well, I got to play South Park. Once this move settles down, that's on my absolute to-do list. And then the Final Fantasy X and X-2 remasters. I have to do those. I love those games. So.
Yeah, I don't think those are. You don't have to hurry that much on those. You played them before.
I know it's not for everybody, but I gotta. We'll see. We'll see how far I get before I go like, ooh, distraction.
What can I do for you?
You can make Loki read the next story.
Hey, Loki, read the next story.
All right, I guess I will. So, we haven't talked about this company in a while, but OnLive is back in the news. They've got a brand new service called CloudLift, and what CloudLift is doing is going to be offering some different games on there. I don't know if they're necessarily rebooting the whole thing, but it looks like they have 20 games right now, and it's going to include Saints Row 4, Batman Arkham City, but they're also saying that they're going to have some MMOs as well at some point. I guess they mentioned Second Life Go. I don't know if that's any different than... I guess that was the one that's on Android, but it's kind of interesting that they're kind of going that route in there. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be console games anymore, if it's going to be more like PC or something. Also, they're saying, with that, they're going to have it where you can, of course, subscribe to stuff, be able to stream games that you've purchased on Steam or Origin or any other services that are compatible with OnLive as well. So it looks like you'll be able to stream your own games, plus, stream games that maybe you don't own, or you can buy games through them and that kind of stuff. So a little bit of a mutation of OnLive. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
I gotta say, Loki, I'm kind of with you that I did not realize that OnLive was still around. I thought that they had folded for some weird reason. Did they get sold or something? And now
they got sold.
Oh, and so this is like the big reboot for them, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, I'm trying to see like what happened. They had the OnLive desktop that came out in 2012, and then on August 17th of 2012, the company laid off all its employees. So okay, so we're not crazy. Like something really big did happen there, and then they sold off the assets and started a new company, also called OnLive.
Yeah, so with the OnLive stuff, like I said, they have like CloudLift, which this is what they're doing the beta test on right now. And that basically allows you to download games into the cloud, or you basically own a download copy at home and play it in the cloud on multiple devices at any time.
Got it.
So they're saying also that they still have like that play pack, which is kind of like how OnLive was before. It's like an instant cloud library, so all these different games you can try for free and stuff. So I don't know, it's a neat idea.
Yeah, Tiger Claw kind of puts us in another light in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Tiger Claw says, this seems interesting because as your Steam library grows, so will the amount of storage required to install them. So having the ability to stream the games you already own would be a good way to play them without the need to install them in the first place. That is a good thought because, I don't really want to run out and get a new hard drive, and I'm kind of limited with the 500 gigs I have right now.
Or, here's another idea, with the fact that they're saying that you can have games streaming to an Android tablet, you can take your Steam library with you on your, tablet, just go ahead and play it on the go. Maybe be able to sync a Bluetooth controller to it or something, and be able to play games like that. That'd be kind of cool.
It's very similar to the PlayStation 4 and the Vita, the whole remote play thing, or even the Wii U in some ways, right?
Yeah, and then they also have the option where they're going to, I guess, allow you to play just like with a set-top box. So they have some compatible stuff, some smart TVs they're going to support OnLive as well. One being, I guess they have the Google TV by LG that's going to support it, and the Vizio CoStar are two that support OnLive right now. But I don't know. I think it sounds kind of cool.
Yeah. I'll be very curious to see maybe if they have a big presence at E3 this year, as they did a few years ago when that company first started, and everybody was like, this technology will never work. I remember being at that E3 going, this is never going to work, and it worked. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, let's move on and talk about another type of streaming, and that is Twitch. Twitch has been in the news a lot lately, and they've really been really kind of been blowing up as a big gaming company. I mean, not in the same way as other companies where they're actually making games, but Twitch really is doing big things with gaming. And the next big thing is streaming for iOS and Android. That's right. Pretty soon, you're going to be able to stream, capture, and archive your gameplay on Android and iOS devices when developers enable the functionality in their games with Twitch's mobile software development kit. So that's an important thing, is that this isn't like something you're going to be able to run in the background and stream anything. They're going to have to put this in the game and offer the Twitch support within the game. But I'm sure there'll be plenty of games that actually pick this up. Think of the way like Minecraft has Twitch streaming built in. Path of Exile has Twitch streaming built in. I can't think of other games, but I know there's others out there that have that all built in. That's what's going to happen on some mobile phone games, so they have to actually implement that. And so once it's implemented, users can actually work with video capture options for like the front-facing camera, so it can be pointed at you while you play. Audio capture using either an internal or an external microphone, and you can actually archive the stream on Twitch and all that. So, yeah, this is going to be very interesting to see what games implement this and where it goes. I would think that maybe Minecraft Pocket Edition seems like a likely candidate, since Minecraft has really embraced that whole thing. It'll be very interesting to see what games implement this. Also, big news out of Twitch. Big steps to make themselves the new E3 place. The place to see all the E3 content, because, G4 was the big place, and they kind of went poop. And Spike TV, I think, kind of picked up the slack for a couple years, and I imagine is still going to do some things involving E3. However, Twitch has signed a 3-year deal to be the gaming conference's official streaming partner. So this means that official conference streams will be broadcast through Twitch, which, if anybody tried to watch the Nintendo streams on Ustream, this is great fucking news. Just saying. I would assume, I don't know, does the Nintendo Directs count as part of E3? They might not. But at least the Sony and the Microsoft ones and the EA and all that, that'll all be through Twitch.
At least they have the YouTube live ones, because, the Nintendo Directs over Ustream fucking suck.
That's true. Nintendo started implementing the YouTubes as well, huh? Yeah, I don't know. It's yet to see if they're going to do Twitch as well. But anyway, convention attendees are going to see Twitch feeds on monitors. So that's going to be very interesting, like actually at the convention. So there you go. No word if those monitors will just be Twitch playing Pokemon or Twitch playing E3 attendees or who knows what. So there you go. Big news coming out of Twitch. Very interesting, the story of that company, especially, I know earlier in the show I talked about when we were streaming OLR on Justin TV. If you think about it, that whole phenomenon started as a guy who wore a webcam on his head everywhere he went. And here we are. That has morphed into now this E3 partner company. It's really, really astonishing.
Yeah.
So, anyway, let us move on.
Well, I feel really bad for our friends in South Africa. Because guess what they don't get? Titanfall. You know why? Because their internet sucks. Basically, and this is the official word coming out of EA, after conducting recent online tests for Titanfall, we found that these performance rates in South Africa were not as high as we need to guarantee a great experience, so we have decided not to release Titanfall in South America at this time. So
you mean South Africa?
Sorry, South Africa. Yeah, it's coming out in South America. Somewhere there anyway. So basically, they're like, sorry, but your internet sucks. Get all of your upgrades to go in and we'll consider it. So, another fuck you to EA. People in South Africa deserve to play Titanfall.
It's a lose-lose situation. It's a lose-lose situation because if the game doesn't function properly, then they're going to get bitched at. If they hold it back, they're going to get bitched at. They should have never announced the game in the region in the first place.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this is...
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah, I don't there's no easy... I mean... Maybe they could cut the cord a little bit with how much server reliance there is, but let's be real. Titanfall is designed to be a multiplayer game. That has to be...
Invest in the South African economy so that you can improve web service there and then sell a bajillion copies of your game. Not really.
I don't know if there's that big of a gaming audience in South Africa, but there's certainly some people that are going to be pissed.
100% serious.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they need to do the research before they say, oh, yeah, you're going to get this. So it's just disgusting. It's another way that EA is fucked up.
Ouch. All right, well, let's see what games are going to be coming to regions this week. Sadly, we don't do South African release dates, but we do...
I could try.
We do start with U.S. release dates, so Loki.
Well, we since we're not in South Africa, we are getting Titanfall on Xbox One and PC this week.
But if you're
if you don't happen to own an Xbox One or a PC, you can... get Dark Souls 2, I guess. That's a good compromise, right? So that'll be out on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Beyond that, there wasn't really a whole bunch else. Let's see. We've also got on 3DS at the end of the week the brand new Yoshi's New Island. So that'll be coming out. And let's see what else. Some other games here. Let's see. Outlier Asia and Logi, Alchemist of the Dust Sky on PlayStation 3. And then, because this game's going to truly be next-gen, Putty Squad on PlayStation 4, PS3, and Vita this week as well. But you probably don't need that on PlayStation 4.
And by the way, this wouldn't be on your list because I know you do retail stuff, and this game is coming on Steam and Humble Store and digital platforms. But our guest that's coming on later, the SEG, wants us to make sure that we plug Dominique Pamplemousse is this week as well. And that's on Tuesday, and we'll give SEG plenty of time to promote the crap out of that. But that is this week in the digital distribution channels. All right, let's travel over to Japan and check out what's coming out there. I don't know if they get the Pamplemousse this week as well. I'll have to ask Seg how the worldwide stuff works, but I can tell you what is coming out on their consoles over there. They are still basking in the launch of the PlayStation 4, so we have no new games this week, but we do have some games over on the PlayStation 3, just like Loki mentioned a minute ago. Dark Souls 2 is coming out there in a regular and collector's edition. I don't know how well these games do in Japan. Perhaps I see Akuma JP's in chat. Maybe he knows. I don't know if these games are very well received over there because they're not really. They're not like Final Fantasy games or other types of JRPGs. They're hard as hell. I think there would be a certain allure to those, but we'll see. But those games are out on the PlayStation 3 this week. Dark Souls 2 in regular and collector's edition. Also on the Xbox 360. By the way, Xbox 360 getting a ton of stuff in the Platinum Collection as well in Japan, including Forza Horizon, Gears of War Trilogy Pack, and also there's some Xbox Live membership cards coming out in Japan that are Titanfall branded. But yet I don't see Titanfall on their release schedule. So, I don't know. That's weird. On the PlayStation Vita, Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds on the 13th of March, like all these other games are coming out. And lastly but not leastly, taking a look at the Wii U and the 3DS. On the 3DS, we have Shujin Ultra Baseball Card Battle. For those of you that want to play baseball, but you want to do it with cards.
But Rob, why would you be surprised that Titanfall's not coming to Japan? The Xbox One hasn't launched there.
I said 360.
Oh, yeah. That's not until the end of the month.
Ah, okay, there you go. So, yeah, no, we still don't know when the Xbox One's out in Japan, right? We're thinking at this point it's going to be holiday, right?
Who knows?
I don't know. One thing I am eyeing on the 3DS, this is a week off, but on the 20th, they're getting Game Center CX San Chome no Arino. Is this the sequel to Retro Game Challenge? Because I kind of think it is.
There was supposed to be a third one coming, yeah.
That is fucking awesome. Well, that's coming to Japan. Yeah, I'm almost positive that's what this game is the Retro Game Challenge, the next game in that series on the 3DS.
The Game Center, yeah.
Yeah. Hot. All right. Quickly, I'm taking a peek at the Wii U. Nothing on the Wii U this week. Nothing new on the Wii U until the 27th. So how about the UK, Dark Sakura?
There's some stuff coming out. I mean, we know that on the 13th, Titanfall is the big thing over there. But before that, 1954 Alcatraz is going to be out on the 11th. And then that's for PC and Mac. And then, like I said, on the 13th is Titanfall for, looks like Xbox One, Xbox 360, and PC, it's saying. And then on the 14th, we have Dark Souls 2, Darksiders Collection, and Red Faction Collection, and Yoshi's New Island. And that be all.
All right. By the way, Akuma JP telling me that Dark Souls sells like hotcakes over there in Japan. Since I'd asked. Thank you, Akuma. All right, just a couple more stories for you guys, then the classic game of the week. Loki.
All right. So, since we just got done talking about OnLive, a service that we thought wasn't around anymore, this one I'm surprised is still around, and that is the Ouya. Well, as a last-ditch effort to make themselves relevant, they have launched a new, focus that's called Ouya Everywhere. It's basically Ouya without buying an Ouya. So you are able to have the Ouya storefront and the OS and that kind of stuff, but you'll be able to play it on TVs, PCs, even without actually having a system. And I guess one of the partners that they announced already, the first one, crazy enough, is their competitor, the Mad Catz Mojo micro console, which is coming out later this spring, and that will support the Ouya. I don't get it. I mean, because at this point, it's like saying, well, if I don't need the console to play these games, especially a lot of these games that are on the Ouya console are on PC, so why would I get this for PC to play Android games that are also on PC? I don't understand.
Yeah, it's interesting. This does seem a little bit like, help, we're Ouya, help, look at us. Is that what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, here's their quote. It says, one thing you'll start to see is Ouya on other people's devices. We started with a $99 box, but we always wanted to create a console platform. No, they didn't always want to create a console platform. Come on. They wanted to create a console platform that could live on other people's devices. That was never the plan. The plan was to make these micro consoles, and you thought they would take off, and they did. We just knew it was going to take a little bit of time to get it ready. Now we think the software is good enough. It'll be ready to be embedded in other people's devices. We actually start having some of these conversations during CS, and the take-up was so great that we're jumping into strategy with both of our feet this year. Now, here's the thing with like that Mojo console. I think that even implements stuff a lot better than, say, the Ouya does, because you can map the controls for any games, even games that are not meant to have actual controller inputs. They're just touchscreen only. You can kind of map them so that they work with it. I don't know. To be honest, it's been a while since I've looked at the Ouya, but their interface and OS was a piece of shit and a fucking mess the last time I looked at it. So they must have done some serious revisions or something, because I just don't see how this would be even worth it. It's almost to me like getting like the Amazon Marketplace on my phone or something like that. Like I have the standard Google Play Store, or I can use this Amazon one for some reason, even though the same things are on both. I don't know.
Didn't you sell your Ouya, or are you still using it as a doorstop?
Oh no, I sold it a long time ago.
Okay.
All right. One more story for you guys about a game that definitely makes people perk up when we talk about it, and that is Portal. Who doesn't love that series?
Yay.
Will there ever be a Portal 3, I wonder? That's not what this story is about, but it just makes me openly wonder, will there ever be a Portal 3?
Valve can't count to 3.
Yeah, Valve can't count to 3. However, we will talk about another way you can experience the joy and wonder of the Portal universe, and that is through a board game. We don't talk about board games enough on this show, but board games are pretty sweet. Most of them. I mean, there's a few stinkers out there, I'm sure, but I bet this will be a lot of fun. It's the Portal board game coming from Valve and Cryptozoic. It is supposed to be hitting shelves a little later this year. They don't have a final title yet. The working title is Portal, Uncooperative Cake Acquisition Game, which sounds good to me. I mean, it makes sense, and obviously everybody gets the joke with the cake and so forth. Apparently in the game, even though they call it they say cooperative in the title. It's very uncooperative, as the title says. It's very competitive, where you play from 2 to 4 players, and you actually play as a test subject in a test environment, and you try to either kill off your opponent's pawns, or you might get yourself killed. Now, you do cooperate once in a while if you're trying to kill somebody else. So there might be that whole, like, oh, Jamie and I are going to team up to take Matt out, but then we have to turn on each other. So there'll be some of that diabolical gameplay.
I don't know what you're talking about. Prepare for deadly neurotoxin.
So, and I don't know if this is what the game looks like there, that we're looking at a little picture here in studio, but that looks kind of cool. Like, it's got like an isometric sort of look to it. I wonder if it'll actually be like a 3-dimensional kind of board. So we'll see. But yeah, you can check that out a little later this year on the Portal board game. Would you check out a Portal board game, Dark Soccer?
I might.
All right. Well, in the meantime, Dark Soccer is going to go into the gaming vault and find a game that she thinks, hey, this is a classic game.
This time I'm riding a bicycle through the vault.
That's right. Oh, you're going to get on your bike and ride through the vault.
Yep.
She's getting her prop cycle on, yo.
No,
Just
not
kidding.
a prop cycle. This is a bike. Remember, we're old school.
That wasn't the game of the week.
And I'm running over people's lawns.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
And throwing things through their windows and being chased out by dogs and people breakdancing and cars.
Have you guys figured out where the classic game of the week is going? Dark Sakura, what is the classic game of the week?
It's Paperboy. Yay.
Yay.
Yeah. I love the music in Paperboy so much. Like this music right here, right after you select the level. We have to hear this.
Which I just want to say, for the people that end up seeing this on YouTube later on, because we do put all our shows up on YouTube as well at username Orange Lounge Radio. The person who recorded this Playboy playthrough is like totally cheating. Hacks left. Look, he's riding through fences and through houses.
Yeah.
He is the hacking. So
but I got it because it has the music.
Yeah, this is not very classic gameplay, but at least it is classic music and soundtrack.
Yeah, because I like being able to find the arcade music, and this was the longest one I could find that didn't have people fucking talking over it.
Yeah. Hey, look at me! I'm playing Paperboy. Oh boy, I'm terrible at this game.
Anyway, you play as a boy delivering paper. So you have to deliver the newspapers to your subscribers, vandalize the non-subscribers' home, and still avoid all the hazards. And you lose your subscribers by missing your delivery or damaging your subscriber's house. So you have 3 levels of difficulty. You have Easy Street, Middle Road, and Hard Way, which I just thought the name were clever. So you have to perfectly deliver the papers to your subscribers for an entire week and not crash, which will eat up a life. And then that's before the week ends. And so you have 7 in-game days. You have Monday through Sunday. I guess you get the Sunday paper too. So the houses are really easy to tell apart. Your subscribers look like they have regular houses. Your non-subscribers have like red windows and black houses, and they're kind of creepy looking. And you have really weird neighbors, like really weird people in the neighborhood. So like you have, as far as your hazards, you have fire hydrants, storm drains, break dancers, cars, skateboards, drunks, kids with radio-controlled toys, and then you have a tornado, oversized house cats, and the Grim Reaper. You also have to cross intersections that have, motorcycles and cars going through. And then you can actually throw your papers, though, at some of the people, like the people fighting in the street and the breakdancer. And you get extra points for doing that. And you have to pick up more stacks of papers as you go. A perfect delivery is when you deliver to all of your subscriber, and you get double points for each house that you deliver to, and if you get a perfect delivery. You also have a training course at the end that basically lets you practice, doing stuff in different levels, and then you get a recap of your delivery.
The chatters are calling me out saying I called this game Playboy. Did I call this game Playboy?
I didn't pay attention.
I meant to say Paperboy, but you know what? If it was a topless girl riding a bike, that would be something to play too.
That would be BMX XXX.
I guess y'all know where my mind was at.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, there also, when you get anything happening in the game, you get like an actual paper that shows that your little Paperboy guy on it. Like if you do perfect, Paperboy wins award for outstanding paper delivery. If you lose all your lives, you get one that says Paperboy calls it quits. And if you lose all your subscribers, you get a headline that says Paperboy fired, with the digital voice going, "You're fired." And like there's like different voice clips in the game too. You know, there's one that says, "Paperboy stopping at nothing in his valiant effort to save this land from TV journalism." And then you get like the "Let's See You Hang 10" when you run into a skateboarder. And then when you run over a tricyclist, he says, "I hate that kid." So it's running on the Atari System 2 hardware with a 10 megahertz digital equipment Corporation T11 and Sound and Coin. It's 2.2 megahertz MOS technology 6502, and the sound chips are Pokies.
Same hardware. This is clearly the same hardware that ran 720.
Texas Instruments TMS 5220 for the speech.
One of the Indiana Jones games was on this hardware too.
Yeah, I think so.
And there's another one. Is it Rolling Thunder? There's another one I can't think of.
Well, at any rate, there is also a bug where you can skirt the finish line at the end of the training course and play the training course over and over again until you crash, and so you get garbage data on the screen and you get a huge F score. So that is a glitch in the game. There's different ports. We had the BBC Micro and Acorn Electron, and that one, some of those different versions you could actually play as a paper girl instead of a paper boy, which is awesome. There's Commodore 64 version. There's a Commodore 16.
And yes, I played the shit out of the Commodore 64 version as a kid, since you wanted to know.
Okay. Amstrad CPC, ZX Spectrum, Apple II, TRS-80. God damn it, I lost my page. There was a DOS version, Apple II GS, the Famicom NES, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Atari ST, Amiga, Atari Lynx, which I have that version, Sega Master System, Game Gear, and Mega Drive / Genesis. The NES version is the first NES game to be developed in the U.S. There were home versions that spawned sequels like Paperboy 2, and then there was a Paperboy 64 for the Nintendo 64. It's currently been included in Midway Arcade Treasures and on various systems for the GameCube, PS2, PSP, Xbox, and Windows. There's a mobile version out, and Paperboy had a release on Xbox Live Arcade for the 360 on February 14th, 2007, but it's been delisted. There is an anniversary version that came out on iOS on December 18th. So, the Paperboy appeared in an episode of Captain N, which, okay. There's a scene in Police Academy 3 Back in Training where the game is featured. There is the game is on a BBC TV show called First Class, and the Paperboy is in Wreck-It Ralph. He's hanging out at Game Central Station.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I missed that.
Yep, so there you go.
All right. That's a good one. I remember this game very fondly, of course,
I
on
love the
Commodore 64.
music.
You want to hear a little more here?
Yeah, let's hear some more.
See, this is how
Go
I
right
could...
through the freaking hearse.
I told you the guy was cheating in this video. He's cheating like crazy. It's kind of got a little Playboy vibe in the video. In the
He's
the
playing
soundtrack.
it all right.
All right, there it is. Your classic game of the week, Paperboy, on everything in the 80s, honestly, but started in the arcade. There you go. Good pick, Darsaga. Good pick.
Thank you.
Hey, we'll be right back. We're going to take a break, and when we come back after this break, the SEG is going to be here to talk all about that game we were mentioning earlier in the show, releasing this week, Dominique Pamplemousse. We're going to get all the facts on that game, and if I should keep saying it that way, maybe I shouldn't. And, of course, Rapid Fire News, the Fugle Question of the Week, and plenty more when we come back after this with more of Orange Lounge Radio. Welcome back, everybody, to Orange Lounge Radio. We are live, of course, on this Sunday evening with episode number... I think I actually might have lost count. What episode number are we on tonight? We're on episode number 543 of our show for this March the 9th of 2014. And Loki, of course, joining us on the Skype line, right? Hopefully he's back. I don't know. He might have went AFK for baby.
No, I'm here. I'm sorry.
Hey. How's it going, Loki?
Going all right.
So I know those of you guys that listen to the podcast don't really get to see this side of things, but in studio, we always take a quick break so that we can do things like, use the bathroom, top off our drinks and so forth, or in the case of tonight's show, set up an interview, which I'm going to get to get here in 2 seconds. But I literally was running back with 15 seconds left to spare, and now I've knocked over the iPad, and I've barely got the recording of the show started and all that stuff, but that's how we do it live here at OLR, right? What?
Fix it.
I'm trying, and now this stupid iPad keeps locking up on me, and I'm going to lose our guest if I'm not careful.
Well, somebody else could be talking while you get the little magnet attached.
All right, well, there we go. I think I'm good to go, and we can finally get to our interview that we're going to start off with here at the top of our program for this Part B. And joining us on the line tonight is our pal, the Seg.
Shucks howdy. Howdy y'all doing?
Good. How are you doing, Seg? Good to hear from you.
I'm doing rather fine. Tired and a little stressed out, but otherwise.
Stressed out? You? How could you be stressed? You talk like it's a game release week or something.
I know, right?
So, yeah, oh my gosh. Who would be releasing a game against Titanfall, Seg?
Well, Dalek actually is releasing a game on Tuesday. But also me and Deidre.
No, all kidding aside. Come on. There's always these big AAA games coming out, like, your South Park last week, your Titanfall, and your Final Fantasy X, in a couple weeks and so forth. But let us not forget the indie games, because the indie games, they come out, and sometimes indie games, they take a little while to build, right? Minecraft wasn't built in a day, and some of these indie games become
I don't know. There's some stuff in Minecraft that's been built in a day.
I guess that's very true. But no, you've got an indie game that you've been kind of assisting with. I'm not sure what is your official title with.
Well, official title. Deidre came up with this, and I really like it. Is professional extrovert.
Appropriate.
So my role is basically biz dev, community management, build, distribution, release, and all the other things for releasing Dominique Pamplemousse.
Tell us a little bit about Dominique Pamplemousse.
So Dominique Pamplemousse is a detective noir point-and-click adventure musical done in stop-motion animation about gender in the economy.
Okay. You realize there's going to be a bunch of people out there saying, literally what?
Yeah. This is a project that 2 years ago now, Deidre set up as an Indiegogo project of just, hey, I want to do a thing. And the budget was very modest. I mean, I want to say it got just a shy over $10K in total. Which, it's a video game, folks. That's very, very inexpensive. And made this game that was done in all stop-motion animation, where Deidre did everything. Writing, music, the programming, and it's all stop-motion of real figures and sets that Deidre made. So it's all pictures, and done in black and white. So it has a very unique, I'll say raw. It's not the kind of polish you would normally see in a AAA title. It's very, it has a very unique look to it.
When you say stop motion, I mean, if you think about stop motion animation, that means literally click, take a picture. Okay, move just a little slight bit. Click, take another picture. Move a slight bit. I mean, that is an extraordinary amount of patience for one person. And stop motion, I don't think you really see that in what video games out there had stop. Maybe Clay Fighter.
There were some. I think there was one game that had a sort of stop motion thing. But honestly, the whole idea of a stop motion game just sounds fantastic to me, because I like. And this was something I've been trying to incorporate in my own personal design, is incorporating real life textures and objects in a digital environment. And this just hit all of my happy buttons. So
that's astounding. This stop motion game that literally one person. It's a one person show essentially.
Yeah,
as far as the creation goes,
it's all Deidre.
That's amazing.
And done a wonderful job. And so it actually, technically this game's already been released, but it was on DominiquePamplemousse.com, which you can buy it now, and I'll get to where it gets new in a moment. But
And you're going to have to spell that. Just saying.
Yes. If our SEO is pretty good, where if you make a good attempt at the spelling and know that it's 2 words,
okay,
you're pretty good to go. So the game was released just through iPad, through the App Store, and just a simple payment service thing on the website. And then Deidre submitted it to the festival circuit, and first it got digital selection for Indiecade, which is a really, really nice festival that happens in LA, Culver City. And I helped out and came along with them to showcase the game as the professional booth dude. The game. I
think I heard somewhere, I could be wrong, but I thought it was in the news this week that Indiecade was announced as coming to GamerX 2 as well, right? Or that Cards Against Humanity was sponsoring something with that? I hope I don't have that mixed up, but I haven't
heard, but I've been in my own dome of seclusion this past 2-3 weeks. So
you've been in the Dominique Pamplemousse booth all week trying to get this taken care of. No, that's cool.
So, and that digital section was showcasing it there, and then Deidre put it to the IGF International Independent Games Festival, which goes along with GDC, Game Developers Conference, and there wasn't just 1 nomination, or 2, or 3, but 4, including the Sam McNally Grand Prize, the top prize.
Congrats!
And they were tied 3 ways for most nominated title, but the categories are that we're nominated for are the Grand McNally Grand Prize, excellence in narrative, excellence in audio, because it is a musical, and the Nouveau Award, which is the experimental games category.
And get out experimental game.
And it is an absolute honor because we're in the same space as games like Paper Please and The Yogg and Device 6 and all of these other titles, and just it's really a testament to the work that Deidre has put into this project, and it's really resonated with people that have played. And so with that, when the morning that the IGF nominations came in, I messaged Deidre and going, obviously congratulations.
Right.
And knowing the impending doom that was coming soon, I offered my services as what we now call professional extrovert, because one of the things I knew that was coming was Steam, because Steam has a tradition of outright offering anyone who has gotten nominated for an IGF we can make money with this. So they offer the distribution on Steam. And I have a little bit of familiarity with releasing games on Steam. Mm-hmm. 64 titles in a row by my belt. But anyway,
not to. But okay, so this is how. So you pretty much just kind of answered the big question, because there has been some people out there on the interwebs wondering how come this game, like being the super fierce indie that it is, clearly pretty much all being done by one person. How did this game not do the Steam greenlight? But it's because of the nominations.
Yes, it's because of the nominations. We've been through enough of a gauntlet already, mm-hmm. and to be at this high of an honor, it's a no-brainer, and always has been a no-brainer for Valve. And it's also opened up other opportunities. For example, we're also with Humble, mm-hmm. Humble Bundle. We're not in a bundle, but we have a widget and will be in the store as of Tuesday.
Right. Sometimes people forget that Humble has their own store that they're running too, where you can get Steam keys if you want, and so forth.
Yeah, and you will have if you get from Humble, you will get Steam keys.
PC and Mac as well, right?
Yep, Windows,
Nice.
Mac. No funny business. You get both. We're also on iPad, but App Store. There is no dials for us to turn in order to get anything rolled in with that. So it's sadly its own separate thing.
Let me ask you some. Let me get into some real deep questions about the game because obviously this game is tackling some pretty interesting subject matter in a very interesting way with the stop motion and the musical. And one of those things that the game is tackling is gender identity. Correct? Is an issue that's tackled in the game. So how does one tackle gender identity issues through a video game?
Well, I don't want to speak out of turn with Deidre and the work that they're doing, but it's really just, when I play the piece, I see it as Deidre honestly trying to address these issues and experiences that they've had, and putting it to a game, but in a way that it's not inaccessible to people. I fully, completely identify as male, 100%.
Right.
And I'm not put off by this because I know that this is experiences that other people go through, and I am enriched by that because I'm experiencing things that I will never go through and I don't go through. And I think this is the point of art, is to make something that isn't your experience accessible.
You're kind of hitting on the next question I was going to ask, because the next thing that I had on my list here is that the probably the number one audience that listens to our show, and it's no secret that the stereotype of your average gamer is a late teens, early 20s, white, cis male, straight guy. What's in this game for them? But you're kind of since you're many of those things yourself, you're kind of hitting on it. It's about I don't want to say storytelling, but it is certainly, because that sounds like fiction. But it's definitely
it is fiction.
Well, okay. The game is fiction, but you're definitely getting some very non-fictional elements in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally a fiction game. It's not autobiographical by any means.
Sure.
This has definitely been the double diamond of promoting, because it's such a weird off the radar game in so many different ways. But where I find people have the enjoyment on it are either they personally identify with it, or they've had a great experience and it's not what they would normally get from other media. And I know we're talking so much about the genders and issues and all that, but it's not like it's beating it over your head.
And I think that's a very important point to make as well, is that this happens in gaming media all of the time. There's that one thing that we flip and fixate on.
Yep. And
then, just like gaming media can't get over that one thing that one guy said at that one conference, and then we fixate on that, right? Mm-hmm. But no, I think that's a great kind of thing to put out there, is that the man just said it's stop motion, it's a musical, it's there's many different points to this. Now, we love to in this industry inevitably compare games to each other, Tomb Raider, it's just like Uncharted now, all this stuff, right? But I'm kind of looking at this game and I'm going, I can this be compared to anything?
Well, it is your traditional point and click adventure game, straight up. It's if you like point and click adventures, you're going to feel at home with this. It is that's the style. So that's where it comes with similarities. If I was doing the elevator pitch for it, if I was getting a publishing deal, is that it's point and click adventure, but in a traditional sense.
Okay.
But it's just the content matter is definitely not what you would normally get from most other works. And, you know, we are all so blessed to be able to reach this kind of audience. Both, you know, first of all, thankful for the backers that funded this to make this happen. And really, that was going to be it. You know, the submission to the festival circuit was, you know, a given. And it's just like, you know, what, you know, the game's done. Here you go. Fill out some forms. But now it's just breathe new life into this because there's so much of an interest with it and such positive response from the criticism world that we're able to do these opportunities. Now, Deidre is currently a grad student at University of California, Santa Cruz, under the Center for Games and Playable Media, and is focused doing on that.
So on top of making this game, Deidre is a student.
So
doing that too.
Deidre finished this just before or just about starting grad school.
Okay. Wow.
They'll have to correct me if I'm wrong, but that's about the timeline. So the game was done around the time, if not before, starting at Santa Cruz.
Wow.
But now it's, you know, if I didn't come along, and I'm not trying to sound self-important, but if I didn't come along or someone like me didn't come along for Deidre, I don't think we would be seeing this kind of release because it's a lot of work. And, I mean, it's a lot of work for me, and I know what I should be doing.
Tell me quickly here. I'm going to get to this in a minute here. We're actually going to give away a couple copies of the game just to find people that are listening, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I want to know too. First, quickly, I don't have a whole lot of time left with Sag because he very agreeably agreed to do a last minute interview here tonight. So I've got to kind of wrap up things quick. But if you guys have questions, live.vognetwork.com. You can always fire as well. You guys are on Twitter. I'm sure you'd be happy to answer questions there or through the website and so forth. I want to ask though real quick before we get to the giveaway and the pimpage and all that of where to get the game. Music. Obviously music's a big part of this game. What is some of the music like in the game?
Actually, I'm sorry we didn't prepare this. Can you call up the website and play the trailer? It's less than a minute. I think that would be a very good thing because it's.
If I can remember how to spell it, I'd be. Oh wait, no. Luckily, I have your Twitter. I have it in my history.
Guess who now has it on her iPad?
That was quick.
Yeah.
Yay!
Hey, you sold at least one. Okay, just the giant trailer here on the page.
Yeah, just play it.
All right, here you go. I'm gonna play this here for you guys.
Pamplemousse. It's Pamplemousse. Are you a boy or a girl? No, I'm a detective. It's just a pile of mail, a bunch of bills I haven't paid. I can't believe the lights still turn on in this place. Casey Bingham? I've sort of heard of him, I think.
He's a singer and he's like, cute and stuff?
Suffice to say, he can't be easily replaced. Gotta search the room, try to find something that'll tell me something about what's going on with Devin and this thing she's got with Casey Bingham.
So yeah, that's the trailer.
This is very, I mean this in a nice way. It's not going to sound nice, but it's very odd.
Yeah, it is odd. But it's good odd.
It's odd in that Spike and Mike's Sick and Twisted Animation Festival kind of way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I don't think it would be that kind of fitting there, but it's odd. It is a completely different experience from what you're used to, and we also have a demo of the game. It's in Flash at our website too, so you can play that as well. I know it's in Flash, but in browser demo.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. You gotta embrace that however you can. Quick question from RageNator in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. I don't know if you'd know the answer to this because I know you didn't design, but I'm going to try you anyway. What was the motivation to have the game be a point-and-click game as opposed to be a platformer? So maybe just like why if you know, why did Deidre go point-and-click with it?
Well, I don't want to speak definitively. However, so Deidre is very active in the IF community, that's interactive fiction community, worked at Hothead for a while, was an intern at Telltale. Actually, here's an interesting story. Deidre was an intern at Telltale and done with the internship a month before I started at Telltale. Oh. But we didn't meet until that year GDC.
So it's like two people who went to the same high school that never met each other till after college. All right, I gotcha.
Exactly.
It's funny.
So...
Okay, so of course, if Deidre was at Telltale, like, there's definitely that exposure, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, I gotcha.
There's also a piece they did earlier that's also on Deidre's website, the link is towards the bottom, called Life Flashes By, which is another point-and-click adventure, 2D animation, not a musical. But that's completely free and available too, so that's available. So it's definitely, not anywhere outside of the realm of their development and experience.
Gotcha. All right, well, Seg, we're going to have to wrap up here, but I do want to allow the folks an opportunity to check out Dominique Pamplemousse for themselves. If you would like to, we're gonna do two contests here on the show to win some codes for the game, which is these are Humble codes, right?
These are Humble Bundle codes, and which also include the Steam key with it.
Okay, so that ought to be accessible to everybody. So,
yeah.
But unless you really wanted it on iPad, but if you want it on iPad, go get it on iPad. It's available right now.
Yep.
Which Dark Soccer just did.
I did, and $5 is not a whole lot to pay for a good game.
No, not at all. So if you would like to get one for free, however, we're going to give one away to our live folks and one away to our podcast folks. So if you would like to win a copy through the podcast, and this is only through the podcast listeners, send an email right now to participate at orangeloungeradio.com and just say somewhere in there, I want Dominique Pamplemousse, and we'll choose just one. We'll just do a good old random draw, and we'll let you know who won in 2 weeks when we're back with an all-new Orange Lounge Radio. For those of you that are live, I'm going to see if you were paying attention, and I'm going to have you answer a little question. So here's the question, and you got to answer it. How many awards is Dominique Pamplemousse up for at the IGF Awards? You can send your message over private message to Sky in the chat room, SKIE, and first person to get that in there with the correct answer will win their very own Humble Key for Dominique Pamplemousse. Now, Seg, before I let you go, please commence the pimpage. How can people get more of this game? What's the website and all that good stuff?
The website is Dominique Pamplemousse. If you make your best guess at Googling that, it will probably show up. Just know that it's 2 words. And it will show up. Actually, the thing is, even though our big release day is Tuesday, you can go to the website and just buy it from Humble right now.
Sneak peek, you guys. Early release exclusive for OLR listeners. Wink, wink, nudge.
Yeah. But that's right. There's going to be Steam trading cards for Pamplemousse and some unique emoticons. It's all the characters' faces as emoticons, and there's a rare drop. There's 2 rare drops. One of which is the cartoon version of Deidre, their face, and one is the cartoon face of yours truly.
Nice.
So, so the whole Steam trading card thing is out there. Yeah, awesome. I had to do that art too. I've been doing all the support art and everything, and I don't sleep ever.
Well,
and one more thing.
Yeah.
I know, sorry. I'm sorry I don't have that many details because they haven't really published them out. But the IGF and GDC awards, they go back to back, literally in the same room, will be streamed on GameSpot.com this following Wednesday, so not this week, but next week Wednesday. And it will be streamed 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. And you could see us waiting in the wings and seeing our fate for all the IGF awards and GDC or Game Choice Awards that are right after.
All right. Well, don't be too nervous when you have to go up there and accept some awards. Well, I imagine Deidre will be doing most of that, but
yeah, it's all Deidre.
You get to stand. You get to stand behind Deidre and just thumbs up. Hey,
I'm the suit.
Yes.
Talk to me for business.
All right. By the way, For the Fallen Dreams, our winner there in the chat room. For the Fallen Dreams with the correct answer of 4. Like seriously, like 1 second ahead of Act Deft. And then we had some other people that submitted some incorrect answers. I'm sorry, guys, but good attempt. So I will get I got For the Fallen Dreams' email, and I will get you in touch with them so you can get that code on over. And then if you didn't win tonight, if your name is not For the Fallen Dreams, and you didn't win tonight, you do still have that opportunity through participate at orangelaunchradio.com. We will pull a random emailer in 2 weeks. So,
cool.
All right, awesome. Seg, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. Best of luck.
Thank you. This really means a lot to me.
It means a lot to me that you would come on this show.
The press is hard, and especially when you have to do everything else too.
Hey, I always say indies gotta look out for each other, and that's I know I'm usually saying that in the context of indie podcasting, but that is so true about indie video gaming and the media as well. We got to stick together. So I'm really glad we could help bring a little awareness towards such a title I'm not sure people would have heard of otherwise necessarily. Yeah. So you know what? There you go. So. All right, well, Seg, again, best of luck, and take a nap this weekend. You earned it.
After Tuesday, I'll be able to nap, and then GDC happens. Oh, God.
All right, buddy. Take care. Thank you so much for being here.
You too.
All right.
Goodbye, OLOR.
Goodbye.
Bye.
All right. Always wonderful to hear from Seg here at Orange Lounge Radio. That was great, and especially for coming on at such last-minute notice and giving a nice little interview there. Yeah. Dark Sakura going to check out the game. Let us know what she thinks.
Yeah, except I have to play it all at home because I can't take this to the land of cubes and tech.
Seg, by the way, is over in our chat room now if you had another question that you weren't able to get in, over at live.vognetwork.com. Meanwhile, we've got some rapid-fire news to jump into here as we get more into Part B of our show. Loki, how you doing? You ready for some news?
Sure.
Go for it.
Okay. So Titanfall, this is coming out, of course, on Tuesday, and they've already said, hey, we understand that early copies do get out there, and we're not going to ban players because of that. They're saying, about playing early, we're not going to stop you or ban legit copies. It's pre-launch, so there may be interruptions in the service as we prep servers. Also, the servers don't go live until 12:01 a.m. on the 11th in the local time, so I don't know how much you're going to be able to play an online game when the servers aren't online. So,
yeah, it's not going to do much good to get an early copy of a multiplayer game for which there's no servers.
Well, I don't know. The servers still might be up right now because I was reading a GAF forum post earlier, and there are some people capturing footage from multiplayer games and stuff. So maybe they are testing them still, but definitely you're going to get in trouble if you start streaming that stuff. And then also, of course, you can preload it on Origin if you want to do the PC version. It's 50 gigabytes. That's ridiculous.
That is gigantic.
Yeah. And then, of course, in GameStop fashion, you may well be aware that the PlayStation 4 cameras are pretty impossible to find. Well, just like anything else that's hard to find at GameStop, they decided to go ahead and raise the retail price on that. So no longer will you find it for $59.99, but you can get it for now $69.99. So that kind of is annoying. But I guess they're well within their right to do that. Of course, I'm also well within my right to not shop there.
Yeah. you guys know I've really been trying to get a PlayStation 4 camera, and I kind of gave up. And although I'm like, yay, they're in stock again, this just pisses me off. Like, why is GameStop the only store getting these just so they can turn around and fuck people by doing this? This is ridiculous. I don't need a camera that bad. Like, I am over it.com. I am over it officially.
And then last but not least, there's some pretty cool Humble Bundles going on right now. Of course, they have a weekly sale that features all these different PopCap games, including, for whatever amount you want, Peggle Deluxe, Bejeweled 3, Bookworm Deluxe, Escape Rosecliff Island, and Feeding Frenzy 2 Deluxe. And if you pay $6 or more, you get Plants vs. Zombies Game of the Year Edition, Peggle Knights, and Zuma's Revenge. So that's a pretty good deal there. And all those unlock on Steam or Origin. And then
I did pick that up.
You did?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. Why not? I like, especially these like old school PopCap games. I really like them, and why not? You know.
And then of course, if you're, there's another one going on as well. Devolver Digital's doing a double debut bundle, and that you can find at humblebundle.com/Devolver. And this one's going towards the Brandon Boyer Cancer Treatment Relief. And if you're not familiar with Brandon Boyer, he's the chairman of the Independent Games Festival and also the site Venus Patrol. And of course, he was diagnosed with cancer and is currently trying to get some funding for his treatments. So going towards that, of course, they have a bundle. It's 5 games and 5 indie movies. And with the games, they have Duke Nukem 3D Megaton Edition, Shadow Warrior Classic Redux. Also, was it Defense Technica, Mark Echo's Getting Up, Contents Under Pressure, and Cosmic DJ. And then with that, the films Mars, Good Game, Austin High, The Poisoning, and One Couch at a Time. So it's like some indie films and that kind of stuff. And if you want to get everything, it's $10. Otherwise, you get, just Duke Nukem 3D and Shadow Warrior and that kind of stuff. So check it out.
I also see some heartfelt comments in our chat room over at live.vognetwork.com. Bobby Blackwolf says, yeah, the Brandon Boyer story is sad. Seg says, Brandon is the best person, which obviously Seg was just talking at length about a lot of this indie stuff. Blackwolf says he got insurance, then got diagnosed with cancer, but it was before ACA went into effect. And so him just telling his doctor, yeah, I had a stomachache once, that gave his insurance company the reason to say, pre-existing condition, pay for it yourself. I guess this has already been looked into, but I thought that pre-existings actually had to come off of plans back in 2011 or earlier when they first signed the thing into law.
I think it was depending on state.
Yeah, oh, that might have been it. It might have depended on state. That's really unfortunate.
Proof we had a broken system.
Yeah, I can't really comment further, but I'm glad to hear that the troops are rallying around him. So, all right, well, let's move on. I got some news here. So, we talked about the Humble Bundle a minute ago for PopCap, and speaking of PopCap releases, Peggle 2 is on its way onto the Xbox 360. I don't know if you guys know, but Peggle 2 has been out on Xbox One. But unlike other PopCap games, it hasn't shown up everywhere. Well, that trend will finally break soon. It looks like Xbox 360 will be getting its version on May 7th. There you go. The game costs $12 on Xbox One. It's assumed that that's the price on Xbox 360, but we don't know for sure yet. Also, Dual Mode just launched in the Xbox One version for 2 players fighting locally over the title of Peggle Master. EA did not announce any other platforms, but they do say they will be bringing it pretty much everywhere. It's just, a matter of time. This is interesting that this game is actually getting made. Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn. This has been rumored for weeks and weeks here on the program, but yeah, there is a sequel to Shaq Fu coming. There's a whole little trailer out there for it.
Why?
Well, here's the thing. It may or may not actually happen because it's on Indiegogo. To make the game happen, they will need $450,000. Now, they're a little bit tongue-in-cheek about this. They're not actually claiming that Shaq Fu was just amazing, thing. But they are saying that Shaq Fu, A Legend Reborn, is what the original game should have been. So there you go. There's a trailer up if you want to check that out. And just so you know, They've raised $69,000 and change so far. 69. But they do have 42 days left. So they're still a ways in the goal. They're just over 10%. But they do have 42 days left. So that's a lot of time to contribute to Shaq Fu.
I was going to say, fear not, though. They're flexible funding. So even if they don't raise that amount, they're going to get your money.
Yes, I noticed that was on Indiegogo and not the other sites. So, all right, one other thing here. I did not even know that this was a thing, but apparently the internet has already embraced Goat Simulator.
Oh, yes.
I need this. What is this?
Yes.
Tell me about Goat Simulator, because I honestly don't know much about it.
How do you goat?
Let's see. Goat Simulator is a game that's by... I'm trying to remember the company now, but basically it started off as like a game jam within their studio, and it was just like this thing. It was just really dumb that they made in Unreal Engine 3, and they posted an internet video of it, and it just took off viral. So yeah, it's Coffinstein Studios. They did. Oh God, I can't remember the name now.
It's really happening, y'all. It's really happening. Goat Simulator will be released on April 1st. No fooling, even though that's, I know, appropriate, right? Sadly, only available on PC and no multiplayer functionality, but you know what? If it sells really well, I think anything is possible. $10 is the asking price. If you want to go pre-order the game, you can right now. The website is goat-simulator.com. That's really bad because I read that at first as Goat Stimulator, and that's not a game I want to play.
I made that joke in the chat room, actually.
Oh, did you?
I said Goat Simulator and then said better than Goat Stimulator.
I didn't.
I think for the sake of the show, you should really check out the video.
Okay.
The trailer that's on there.
On their website?
On their website.
I want a goat.
All right. Here we go.
I'm gonna play the goat game.
Another video. Poor Jason. All right, here we go. I'm going to look at this trailer right now here for Goat Simulator, which I've never seen.
Oh my god, this is great.
Wait, I can't control the volume.
You're just flicking the goat everywhere. Butts.
Butts!
I want to be a goat. More goat, please. Oh my god, you're bouncing a goat around on a trampoline through windows.
This
is the
looks
best thing ever.
This looks like a Loki dream game. It looks like a giant sandbox Grand Theft Auto thing, except the main character is a goat.
And you can lick stuff.
All right, now I've seen everything.
It's fantastic.
Jason said this music makes me feel like I'm drunk.
Oh, God. All right.
And Dungeon Buster says you play as a goat and can Katamari things with your tongue.
But here's the best part, though. They're trying to get Steam Workshop support for it.
Oh, no. So everybody can put their own things in it. Great. Great. All right.
This is going to happen.
All right, Dark Soccer, what do you got for us?
I have a couple things. First of all is going to be the release date for Watch Dogs. It's going to be May 27th, according to Ubisoft. So they said that the Wii U version could be a few months after the game's release. And then in other news, coming from Retro Studios, as soon as it freaking works, is that they're actually saying we'll be lucky to someday return to Metroid. There was an interview with Michael Kelbal that said that they would really like to, and that they're developing a new game since they did the Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. And they really, really want to do a Metroid game. The quote is, if the fans keep asking, then maybe we'll answer. That's it.
All righty, let's get to the Fugle question of the week. Every week we ask a question of our Facebook and our Google Plus communities, and we tackle it in the Fugle question of the week. Tonight's... I didn't let the music appropriately play. Sorry, I was just in a hurry to tackle our question tonight.
Rob,
what?
Let the music play.
Let the music
He
play.
will get away.
All right. The Fugle question of the week has to do with the sponsorship question we were asking earlier between Pennzoil and Mario Kart 8. Now, not totally asking what you guys think about it, but we wanted to know, what did you think would be an interesting sponsorship or a promotional tie-in between a corporation and a video game? So, serious or funny, whatever you want to do there. So here we go. Here are some of the answers from Facebook. Tech 2030 says, what about Boeing-branded airships in Final Fantasy? Makes sense. Osfer says, Cooking Mama, cooking with Paula Deen. The limited edition comes packaged with 2 sticks of butter, y'all.
No.
As long as she sticks to like 2 or 3 canned lines, we're fine. Awesome Unicorn says, I guess they missed the boat to cross-promote Bravely Default by offering subprime lending with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. That's a good political joke. That's a good one.
I worked in the mortgage industry when everything popped, so yeah.
Let's see. Degenerate Johnny says, Depends sponsored underwear and Outlast would be the perfect partnership. Players would not have to worry when they shit themselves during the jump scares. You nasty.
I love our listeners.
Let's see.
Our listeners are like listening to Tumblr without all the social justice.
There's some really bad answers coming up here. You ready?
More.
Chiggers says Mirror's Edge and Dramamine. That's a good one.
That would be a good one.
Okay. Our good pal Shane Alinko.
Oh, Shane.
Warner Brothers could partner with the Red Cross for some fun Mortal Kombat tie-in.
No. Remember, I think it was the Australian Red Cross teamed up with Konami for that whole Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 promotion.
When the Saw movies come out, as much as I hate those movies, they do blood drives for that too. Because I've had friends that have done that.
They should do is like Southwest Airlines in like Mortal Kombat. You get over here in Southwest.
Get over here and donate. All right. Let's go to some of the answers over on Google Plus, which, of course, you can find us at google.com/plus, Orange Lounge Radio, all one word. Just a few. We didn't have quite the discussion blow up over there on Google Plus tonight. I'm just going to read a couple of these here. Redtertainment says, Tiger Woods PGA Tour and Viagra. Some of them don't need it. And lastly, Flacco Jones said, since they sponsored the TV show, KFC should also sponsor the Walking Dead's game, or the Walking Dead games, but only if they continue to juxtapose images of people eating their food with zombies eating people.
Tastes about the same.
Yeah, right. It's probably
crunchy brain.
It's probably made from the same material too.
SSJ 100 Matt says, "Dope War sponsored by Dare."
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
that was pretty funny.
The Double Down is made of people.
Charlton Heston presents.
Those were only some of the answers. You can read the rest over at facebook.com/Orange Lounge Radio or google.com/plus Orange Lounge Radio. Meanwhile, we've got more news for you. Loki.
Oh, wait.
What?
Act Def did have a good one.
What?
Kirby and Kirby vacuums.
Yes. You guys are going to end up reading them all anyway. All right. Loki, what do you got for us?
All right. Unfortunately, there's been some layoffs at Sony Santa Monica. Apparently, also along with that, a next-gen game cancellation. And basically, they said this is a result of a cycle of resource realignment against priority growth areas within SCE WWS. We do not take these decisions lightly. However, sometimes it's necessary to make changes to better serve the future projects of our studio. And we have offered outplacement services and severance packages to ease the transition of those impacted. And they haven't really said, I guess there was supposed to be an unannounced PS4 title in development, but they haven't really said what that was, although they kind of made another comment about it saying that there's not a single business on the planet where every single project that is started is a success. And that's just what happens here. Sometimes high-profile projects or studios need a reboot, and that's what happened here. Santa Monica will always have a hugely important part of our global family of studios. It's a huge studio, and that's right up there, around 200 people, even after the recent layoffs. So, and of course, they're not saying which project we're going on, but I guess that they're rebooting everything. Maybe they thought they needed like fresh blood. I guess I can see them maybe doing like a PlayStation 4 version of God of War or something. Maybe it's just not testing well or something. I don't know.
SSG 100 Matt in our chat room brings up a good point, saying the Order 1886 was being done by Sony Santa Monica. So could that have been an impacted game? It seemed like it was far along from what we were seeing, but that's I hope it's not that one. I had heard rumors, and again, rumors, take it with a huge salt lick, but that they had a game that was very similar to Destiny that was in the making, and that unfortunately Destiny was looking like a better game. To make a long story extremely short. And that was the cause. But again, that could just be that could have evolved from like a NeoGAF post from somebody's uncle or something. I don't know. So take it with a huge grain of salt. I just hope the Order 1886 is still something that's going to be happening, because I like that it's a new IP. It's a little bit different. I think a lot of people are here for the werewolf and steampunk type of thing. So.
I think it's still going to be one, because remember, they just got done showing it off at like some Sony press event not too long ago. So I think that's still coming.
That's true.
It's just maybe whatever else they haven't really announced yet that they're working on wasn't panning out. But they're not the only ones. Disney Interactive has also laid off 700 people, and they're planning to scale back their annual game output.
Ouch.
Which is weird, because their annual game output's like 1 or 2 games. So
don't they do a shit ton of mobile? You're thinking of like Disney Infinity and that stuff, but when you talk about that, isn't this like their mobile side that does like Where's My Water was one of their big games? I know there's a ton of Disney games on iPhone.
Well, I think it's just the whole group. I mean, maybe they are scaling back some of their internet, mobile games and that kind of stuff, but. I don't know. Maybe some of the movie tie-in games are scaling back, because I don't really know what they have like scheduled as far as animated features coming out this year.
That would make a lot of sense, actually, because sometimes those tie-in games too, they seem to work with other companies. Like I think of the one that comes to mind is that there was that Tangled Temple Run game. I don't think Disney did that themselves. I think they worked with the creators of Temple Run to make that.
Well, yeah, and they also license their stuff out. Like Phineas and Ferb, they had a game that was done by Majesco. There's been other, I want to say even some of the Cars games weren't necessarily done by Disney at one time. But, I mean, I'm sure we'll see a new Disney Infinity from them this year, because I think we've run out of characters as of April, so I'm sure they're going to be announcing something about that soon. And then I don't really expect much more from them. Maybe a couple handheld games. That's about it.
Well, our thoughts go out to the impacted workers. Layoffs. I mean, I swear to God, it's been like 3 weeks in a row we've been talking layoff stories. So I don't know what gives. I thought things were ticking up for the game industry, but our thoughts are with those impacted, and hoping you guys can land somewhere else.
Yeah.
Maybe Square Enix is hiring. That's the story I'm going to get into next. I don't know, but I know Square Enix is polling people right now to get fan feedback on Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts polling the fans to see what platforms gamers are currently playing on and what genre people prefer. Now, here's something interesting. Kingdom Hearts 3, it's been announced for PlayStation 4, it's been announced for Xbox One, hasn't been announced for Wii U. So this news has been gaining a lot of traction on Nintendo websites to basically go hit the poll and say, show Wii U some love. Show them that there is, fans out there that want to see Kingdom Hearts on Wii U. So, very interesting. I don't know, again, it's just a poll. I don't know if it'll have that full impact, but it could be very interesting. I just don't think Kingdom Hearts 3, I mean, if they're going for it probably can't really be done on Wii U. I hate to say it, but I think they're, again, Wii U is built a little more on the 360 PlayStation 3 with a little more oomph. But I would think that if they know that there's a huge following for Kingdom Hearts on Nintendo, maybe there could be a side story or something. Certainly there was Dream Drop Distance on a Nintendo platform, so it's not like Square Enix is going to say F you to all Nintendo platforms.
Right.
So, you never know what might happen with that. So, good luck.
Yeah.
All right, Dark Sakura.
Well, I have some news, and this is actually going to be more something that I think we need to play for people. There is actually a video out for Gamer X2, which is the convention you went to last year, and I'm going to do my best to make it to this year.
Mm-hmm.
And it has Ellen McLean, who was GLaDOS in Portal, and John Patrick Lowry, who was the sniper in Team Fortress 2, showing some love for the convention. And I honestly think that it's better just to let it play. But everyone should be supporting it. It's July 11th through 13th at the Intercontinental Hotel in San Francisco. And play it.
Sure, there's just a couple minutes, so let's take a listen. Who doesn't love the voices of Ellen McLean and John Patrick Lowry? I mean, they could be reading the phone book, and I'd be excited.
Yes.
But this is much better than a phone book.
In a world where gay gamers gather together to get their game on, gamble, gallop, and geek out to giddiness in a great gala of grandeur and glee, will you be the one to say them nay? Will you be the one to crush their dreams? Will you be the one to say, oh gee, you don't get a party? Oh gee, you don't deserve a party? Oh gee, why don't you go home and cry in your pillow?
Boy, you poop on my party, I'll put a prime penno on that pumpkin head of yours.
Hello. Oh, have you gained a little weight since last we spoke? Well, no matter. The sniper and I are just having a quiet evening here at home, and we thought we'd say a few words in support of GamerX. It's happening this July in beautiful San Francisco, the city by the bay. Now, we certainly wouldn't want to give the impression that we're coercing you into supporting this wonderful gathering. Perhaps you think it's a good idea. Perhaps you don't. Perhaps you're a forward-thinking progressive who feels that all human beings should be able to come together to celebrate themselves and their friends. Or maybe you're a reactionary pig. Either way, we don't want you to think that I would release large quantities of deadly neurotoxin if you don't give generously to GamerX. Look into your hearts, and please give generously. Really generously. I'd hate to get angry.
I love her. Just if you haven't seen the actual YouTube, which you can see over on GamerX's YouTube channel, which is just GAYMERX, just getting to see the video of her doing that voice is great because she does such like little cute faces and things. She's great. She's great.
Well, there is an ongoing Kickstarter that you can go to, and so far, as of the time of the announcement, there's $18,000 scheduled so far.
Nice. So they've
scheduled.
hit their goal.
Yeah, so and basically they said that David Gator from BioWare, basically the dude who's writing Dragon Age, is going to be there. There's a bunch of people there. There's the co-founder of Reddit, Alexis Ohanian, I guess that's how it's pronounced. Just a bunch, and a wrestler, Darren Young. So Bobby Wrestling Chat is going to be there.
Yep.
And so lots of stuff's going on. I really want to go this year.
Cards Against Humanity, the huge AAA sponsor this year. Yeah.
I really want to go.
Well, I will tell you this too on the podcast front. You know, I'm a huge supporter of indie podcasters, and I do network on Facebook with a great group of independent podcasters. Of course, hey Loki, all right over there?
Yeah, sorry.
Breaking out the power tools.
All right. Anyway, mid-show, just some of the other indie podcasts that are going to be there. Obviously, Grandpa from Horde House and the just announced to Vogue Starboard Power Company. He is going for sure as well. Some other great GLBT podcasts. My buddies from Game Buoy. You know I love me some Captain Spike and First Mate Slidekick. They're there as well. Game Bar is going to have some representation. I'm positive Jason's going back this year and maybe his co-host as well. I don't know. I know Koopa Club will be represented. Those guys are going as well. One of the new kids on the block who has an amazing show. Amazing.
Donnie Wahlberg?
Video... No, this is better than Donnie and Mark put together. Is Video Game Realness. I know they're trying really hard. They got to come all the way from Canada though, and it's cold up there, y'all. So, but check at least all those shows out, and hopefully some of them at GamerX 2 this year, and there hopefully will be another panel of some sort. That's in the planning as well. So, I
want to go.
Time. You should go
if I can.
All right. Let's move on. Some more news. Where are we at now? Loki.
All right. Oh. All right. So let's see.
Put away the parrot.
Parrot? What parrot? I can't believe that they're actually going to make this, but apparently The Last of Us is going to be a film now. I mean, the game was cinematic enough, so I just thought they'd leave it at that. But yes, now they're going to be partnering with Scream Gems, Brian Dukes and Eric Ling. I guess they're saying that it's going to be written also by basically the team at Naughty Dog. So hopefully that means there'll be a faithful translation of the actual game into movie, because usually it's kind of not very good. No word though on when exactly this is expected to be released. Probably not for a few years, I'm guessing, at this point.
Yeah, this has got to be really early on. So, Codeman in our chat says, "Oh God, the story will be ruined. Damn it." Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, the good news is somebody's got to be the first great video game movie. Maybe it'll be this one. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is a video game that maybe they'll turn this into a movie as well, because this is supposed to have some pretty kick-butt writing behind it. It's Quantum Break, which, of course, is one of the Xbox One exclusive games that we're sure to get a look at later this year. It's developed by the same guys who did Alan Wake, which was really underrated in some ways on the Xbox 360. Great soundtrack and great game, and very, very Silent Hill meets Twin Peaks. It was really good. But anyway, those developers, they moved on and they're making Quantum Break. Well, this is pretty cool. There's now an Oscar connection. You know, last week our show was up against the Oscars, and I'm sure many of you have read about all the movies that won Oscars by this point. And one of those movies that won quite a few Oscars was Gravity. Gravity didn't win the Best Picture prize. That was 12 Years a Slave, but Gravity did pick up a lot of technical awards and things of that sort. Well, what's pretty cool is that some visual effects work in the game will be some of the talent that actually made Gravity that won a lot of those VFX Oscars. So that's really cool. They were congratulating Greg Luden on the Remedy Games website for the Oscar that he got for Gravity. And so, yeah, he worked with Gravity's computer-generated interiors with the free-floating space objects and so forth. And now he's working on visual effects for Quantum Break and scripting and designing events as level design. So even though we may not have the first great video game that's been turned into a movie, we certainly are seeing movie elements going into video games. I know I, for one, am very excited about Quantum Break. That's probably what's going to break me, eventually, and make me get an Xbox One. So I'm very excited about that. All right. Let us get to the mailbag. Every week you guys send us an email at participate@orangeloungeradio.com, and we dive into the mailbag and read some of our favorite emails here on air. And we get very mad at all those emails that you drown us in. Grr, I hate it.
I never learned to read.
I hate it when I play the wrong music bumper. Let's try this instead.
First email. Dear OLR.
Dear emailer.
In regards to the discussion last week regarding what video game movies will have to do in order to attain widespread critical recognition, it seems that production companies will have to take a serious look at what source material is chosen. That I agree with right away. Scanning the Wikipedia list of films based on video games, the source material is almost universally fighting, action, or horror games. These are all types of movies that tend to perform well in the box office and fall short in the major award season. A problem also arises when considering games that are more story-driven, such as RPGs. While I would love to see any number of, let's say, Final Fantasy games adapted, the time constraints of a film would be incredibly difficult to overcome. So if big-budget action titles, fighters, horror games, sprawling RPGs, and games with effectively no story, such as your typical platformer, are out, what video game industry darling does that leave us with? That's right, bite-sized indie games. You had touched on this idea a bit mentioning Journey, but how about Papo and Yo? After all, Pan's Labyrinth won 3 Oscars and was nominated for 3 more. And To the Moon, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind won 1 and was nominated for another. That's a good movie. I know this has been as much to do with the quality of the finished product as it does with the content, but these are games that feature subjects and set pieces that have proven popular with Academy voters. Additionally, if these smaller, more sophisticated stories manage to frequently managed more frequently to get the type of exposure this would bring, it could really stand to improve the reputation of gaming as a whole. Because, really, a Call of Duty or GTA movie isn't going to change anyone's mind about anything, no matter how stimulating it may be to watch. Apologies for the lack of any real question beyond something like, what indie games have enough story to make a movie? But I just wanted to give my 2 cents. So I will now look forward to the day when directors stop thinking that making a video game movie means throwing a dart at the top of a list of... I'm tongue-tied. Means throwing a dart at a top 10 list of bestsellers and start thinking a little smaller and more personal. Until then, stay awesome. And that's from Awesome Unicorn.
For that great email. For what it's worth, however, I mean, there is that Minecraft movie, and Minecraft did start as an indie game. I mean, I realize it's grown like crazy, but there is that, and it sounds like they're approaching it the right way. If it's going to be like the Lego movie was type of thing. So, but I do agree with the thought that we don't necessarily always have to think of like big budget, like it's got to be like the hot selling games are the only things that are going to make good movies, because we do have good stories in lots of great video games that might make for a good movie.
For the record, I have seen very quality acting coming from those, action and whatever genre that, honestly, if these same actors had been in an indie film or other type of, Oscar-y film, then they would have easily taken the prize. So I'm just saying.
Tiger Claw reminding us in our chat room at live.vognetwork.com that, by the way, the Need for Speed movie comes out on March 14th. I know, because I saw Flacco's article on Vogue. It said, who knows, it could actually be good considering the games never really had a story. It's
going to be Fast and Furious, the new.
Exactly. It's just to hold the Fast and Furious crowd over while they figure out what they're going to do with the next movie. So.
And, yeah. Okay, next email. We have one more after this. Hey, OLR crew, AZHP here. I just wanted to throw in my 2 cents on the whole Wii and DS Online plug pull that's going to happen soon. I used to be an employee of GameSpy, now acquired / defunct, so I don't have to worry about telling you guys this stuff, which is actually the company that hosts all the matchmaking for every single Wii and DS Online titles. Since you guys are near and dear to my heart, I'm giving you guys the exclusive scoop on this. Out of all GameSpy titles that ever existed, including huge games like Borderlands, Mortal Kombat 9, GTA 5, etc., surprisingly, the consistently highest traffic title is Mario Kart Wii. Now, GameSpy got acquired by Glue Mobile, a free-to-play mobile game company, a year or so ago, which is around the time I left the company. So I heard their division isn't doing so well. High turnover. My old manager got pushed out for political reasons. He was a grade A D-bag. And Glue is probably losing money on that acquisition. So I'm guessing that what happened is Glue is trying to cut their losses on the acquisition by either charging a huge amount of money to Nintendo to keep their servers running, enough to justify keeping the engineers to keep the servers maintained at least, or they straight up wouldn't renew the contract so they could let those engineers go. So either Nintendo wouldn't renew for the higher price or couldn't renew, and it doesn't make financial sense for them to port all their games to new servers they run in-house. That's why you're seeing Wii and DS titles go offline. I hope this helps shed some light on the reason behind why Nintendo is shutting off their servers. They don't hate their fans, and they're probably not trying to drive everyone to just play 3DS and Wii U, though that's an added bonus. They just don't want to fork the money over to Glue, or can't, to keep the servers running on a new contract. Yours always, AZHP.
Thank you for sharing that with us, and I hope you all were paying attention, because I think that's it. I think, and it's not just because, there might be that insider's perspective or whatever. I think, like, when it's stated like that, it makes a crap ton of sense.
Agreed.
We're going to have to put a second gold star by his name.
Yep. You're our first double gold star recipient.
Our first double gold star recipient.
One more email?
One more email.
Hello. This is coming from, I'm just going to say Ronnie, because he didn't list a name.
Okay.
Hello, I have been a listener since the Live 365 days, and I really enjoy the show. This is my first email, and I'm about to start college soon. I was wondering what your advice on balancing video game time and college study time. Is there a good formula? I will say yes, there is. When it's at the start of the semester, you can probably get away with gaming a bit more. You just want to, the way that I do it when I have, because keep in mind I was a graphic design major. I had a lot of projects, time-intensive projects. And for me, I would at least make sure I had one day a week that was my completely not school-related time so that I could just focus on other things, have fun, let my brain relax. Because everyone needs that. If you keep studying all the time, you're going to burn yourself out. So that's what I say. Have a night that's you.
Yeah, I'm not the best person to answer this question because I kind of didn't finish college, and maybe it's because I didn't prioritize the right way. But I'll tell you kind of some things I've learned in my adult life is that certainly that you can make time for video games. I think a lot of people go, oh, you'll never be more stressed out than you are in college. You'll never. I kind of don't think that's the case.
No.
I think your adult life stays just as busy as you are in college. It's just that you are so overwhelmed and it's so new, that whole experience, that for me, I wasn't able to do it. Not everybody is. So if you want the best chance for success, I'm going to tell you what I do in my adult life. And the best example is probably like the actually comes back to this show, OLR. There was a period of time when I wasn't really posting OLR to the podcast feed for like 4 days, 5 days. I kind of did it whenever I fucking felt like it, type of thing, which, to be fair, it's a free show, and I have the right to do that. But at the same time, if I want to have the loyalty from the listeners, then I've got to be loyal to them. If I expect that they're going to stay loyal to OLR, then I've got to be loyal in making sure the show gets up on time. So I had to make a promise to myself. No video games, no MMOs, no nothing until the show gets uploaded right away on Sunday nights. Now, granted, if there's another priority, like, oh, you have to go get your partner from work or he'll be standing out in the cold all night, then yes, I'll do that first and then upload the show. But I think that's what you have to do, Ronnie, to really have that key for success is you really have to promise yourself, I'm not going to touch the games until I finish the work. And either you're going to be able to do that or you're not.
You could also have what my issue was. I have a very strong visual memory. I couldn't study. I don't study. If I don't pick it up the first time I read the information, I won't pick it up at all. Or not even read it, but from my presentation in class. I have to tie something that I am hearing with something I'm seeing. But once I do that, I don't have a problem.
I want to make one clarification because I'm reading the comments in chat room. It made me realize that I left this big logic gap that people might infer something I'm saying. So I just want to be very clear. Because I see Bobby in chat going, don't remind me. And I know a lot of other podcast producers do wait 2 or 3 days to put their content up. So I'm not saying that, like, if you don't do it in a certain amount of time, you're not loyal to your listeners. That's not what I'm trying to say. I want to make that very clear. You have to find what works for you. And what I'm trying to say is that if I don't do it right away, I will slack off until the time.
It's all about self-motivation.
Exactly.
You have to do it the way you know you can do it.
Exactly. So that's what I'm trying to say. For me, it works best that I do it right away.
Like, for me, I work better under a deadline. So I admit I'm kind of a last-minute sort of person, but then I get, like, this really random burst of productivity, and I freaking take advantage of it when I have one of those bursts of productivity, and I get everything done. And then I'm like, oh, crap, I don't have my deadlines anymore. So I sort of lose track of my other stuff until, once again, I'm under a deadline. So your own motivation.
Let me get some comments in the chat because chat is lighting up on this topic as well. Speaking of Bobby said, I actually play more video games in college than I do now. I had more free time because I didn't have as many responsibilities. I had classes and a part-time job, and that's it. I didn't have to worry about bills and stuff. So some say, that's a very good perspective that it might get a little worse as you get older. But being an adult is cool.
In college.
Yeah.
So I did band, I did orchestra, and I did jazz band.
Mm-hmm.
So most of my time was taken up by music because I had those obligations.
SSJ 100 Matt says, I had roommates who were game designers. They failed out because they played too many video games, ironically.
Well, and the other thing is that I think that I got more responsible with my education once I was a little older and then started working full-time and going to school almost full-time. Because, you remember how busy I was at the mortgage job and going to school and doing OLR on top of that. So it's going to be fun trying to go back to school in the summer.
Brad from Pod Culture says, Sky, man, we got ripped a couple weeks ago for not posting on time. You know, and it's going to happen, and I think the audience is going to forgive that mistakes are going to be made, or heaven forbid you take a week off. Like, we're taking a week off next week, and I think most of our listeners are pretty understanding about that, especially because we're trying to put out like a mini show or something to kind of bridge the gap a little bit. So, you know, I think the audience can kind of forgive a certain way, but if you don't have some type of like regularity, that's when you leave your audience open to go find something else to fill the void. That's the only danger. But, you know, 1 or 2 weeks, you're not really risking going to lose a whole lot. But if you consistently are all over the place, consistently inconsistent, you're not going to get that consistency out of your listeners either. That's just something I've learned over doing this for a long time.
I remember what else it was I was doing when I went to the University of South Alabama. I drank a lot. And then I moved out here, and everything got better. So there's a little bit more to this email.
Oh, okay.
I realize college is all about self-independence and actually learning on your own. But the few games that I do enjoy are addictive and require a lot of time and effort, such as Civilization 5, Banished, Fallouts, and Minecraft. Plus, I want to keep up with the culture, especially as I listen to your show. Should I give up on gaming cold turkey until I'm done with my semester or vacation? Or did you manage to perfect a good balance with study time that I can adopt? I have seen some people go as far as snapping their game discs. However, I think this is stupid and my games are all on Steam anyway. Thanks. And I guess we answered that question.
Yeah, I guess we kind of ended up answering it. You have to do what works for you. I think the snapping the game disc, that's a little much. That's a little extreme and tabloid. I don't think you should have to go that far. But, I mean, maybe you put your... I mean, again, you said it's all on Steam, so it's not going to matter. But maybe you take the person you trust most in the world, your best friend, your significant other, your mother or father. Take the person you trust most in the world, give them your Steam password, and say, change it, and then give it back to me when XYZ is done. You know, it might come to that point where essentially you have to give the keys to somebody else, right?
Yeah, but I think you should have a little bit more faith in yourself.
I agree with that. You have to gauge yourself. You know,
I'll admit, there are sometimes I skip class to go watch Sailor Moon. I'll admit. My thing at the time was actually Ronin Warriors, because that was freaking cool. But, we'd stay up until 2 in the morning playing Toshinden, because I had class at, 10 the next day.
Right.
But that's part of the experience is, if you're going to do your gaming, perhaps do something more multiplayer. Use it as a social moment. And then use it when you're done with your regular studies. And even with your study, allot yourself time. Study in bursts of 20 minutes. Take a 5-minute break. Another 20 minutes, 5-minute break. But don't overload yourself with your study. You will burn out. It's all balanced. You can't give up your fun for the sake of your responsibility, but at the same time, you can't let your responsibility eat you. So saith I. And yes, I played a lot of Toshinden when I was just in college, because that was 1994.
Mm-hmm.
My roommate's boyfriend had a PlayStation. No, 95. Got a PlayStation. My good friend had a Japanese Sega Saturn, so I would spend a lot of time over at his dorm playing that too. So, yeah, I did a lot of gaming in college the first time. So that's it.
All right. Participate at orangelongeradio.com if you have an email to send us for a future week. In the meantime, now I can play the angry music. Now I can get to that, because it's time for the FUs of the week.
Oh, this is bad. Here is justice. Here is punishment. This is fucked up.
FU goes to my bizarre allergies, because I've been kind of straying a little bit from my healthy eating style, and I found really tasty low-carb whole wheat tortillas, and my allergy's starting to act up again, so it's clearly something going on with wheat. And I've had weird, I had that really bizarre rash the other week, so I have to cut back out all the wheat again, and getting back on the straight and narrow until I go to Disneyland for my birthday. So, yeah. Fuck wheat. Okay.
Loki.
F you to people that go into the self-checkout line and don't know how to use the self-checkout line. I waited in line for about 5-10 minutes for someone checking out one thing. It's like, I was out of there in 30 seconds, but I don't know why these people stand there kind of staring at the screen not knowing what to do.
I'm just going to give an FU to the stress of moving. And the fact I'll say this: I'm gonna give an FU to the fact that I know that people dig through the garbage here at my apartment complex, as they do at most apartment complexes. And part of why I'm excited to move into a house is that, yay, I can put the garbage out right when they come to pick it up and all that stuff. So that's exciting. But the thing that like really pisses me off is that like I've got all this mail, and the shredder's kind of dead. So it's like. And I don't want to throw it away because people go through the garbage. So it's like, I've got all this mail accumulating. Does it? I've got a lot. But
it's okay. You can bring it over and use my shredder.
We've been talking about just maybe taking a big bulk thing over to like Staples or one of those stores that, office stores that does the shredding. But it's just irritating.
Also talk to Dan and see if you can use a secure shred at... That's an option.
You never know. Anyway, so... all right. Let's get into a couple more news stories for you guys, and we're going to get to the Skype line at 1-877-GAME-OLR, our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. But first, let's get to Loki.
Yes, so everybody's favorite space simulation game is now teaming up with NASA. Kerbal Space Program is teaming up with NASA to actually do, an asteroid redirect mission. And it's supposed to be based off of real NASA data, and that they're, I don't know, I guess maybe allowing people to kind of try to come up with their own ideas. Basically, they're saying this Kerbal Space Program is giving the gamers a chance to dream big, even if they're not astrophysics or physicists. The relationship with NASA, the very beacon of big dreams and imagination, is going to give players a real opportunity to learn about the universe we're living in. And I guess what this mission entails is attempting to land astronauts on an asteroid orbiting between our moon. Or beyond our moon. So I'm guessing that are we looking at like a Armageddon type situation here, where we have to land on the asteroid and blow it up or something like that? I mean, is that what we're doing here? Either way, it looks like it'll be fun.
That sounds awesome. I like it when real life kind of meets video games like that. Have you played this Kerbal Space Program at all? Because I know I really
haven't. I kind of want to though.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks good. I'm gonna wait for it on until it goes on sale.
Awesome. I think it was in a Humble Bundle recently, though. I don't know if it's going to get much cheaper than that.
No, it wasn't. You're thinking Starbound.
Oh.
Yeah, if it was in a Humble Bundle, I would remember that.
Maybe it was in one of the other indie bundles, because I swear I got that game through one of those. But anyway. One more story for you guys before we get to the Skype line, and this is actually pretty sad, and I don't like to end shows on sad notes, but it is what it is. I've got to report that Jeff Edwards passed away this past week at the age of 83. He died on March 5th, 2014 in Santa Monica, California. Probably best known for hosting game shows. He hosted Jackpot and Treasure Hunt. And, of course, why would I bring him up on a video game podcast? Dark Sakura? What else did he host that we all know? If you grew up in the 80s.
No.
Oh, I thought you knew.
No, I didn't.
Loki, do you know?
Nope.
I know his name, so I'm trying to run through my head.
Starcade.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
The granddaddy of the playing the video game shows there. In the early 80s. Sorry to put you on the spot, Jamie. I thought you knew. I thought that's why you went,
thanks, Rob.
Sorry. But, obviously a very well-known game show host, just from that and so forth. Really, really sad to hear that. I mean, he was 83, but still, these are never any fun to report on. So, tip one back for the man that gave away arcade machines. He actually, I saw an episode on YouTube. They are all on YouTube. There's like people that have archived like every single episode on YouTube.
Nice.
They gave away a fucking Tron machine in a couple episodes.
What?
Little jerk kids that won the Tron machine.
Yeah, I bet they don't even have it anymore. Jerks.
Aw. All right. We are going to go to the Skype line right now. 1-877-GAME-OLR, or our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio, if you'd like to give us a call. Dart Tetsuya says, I was surprised that he was that old when he started. Yeah, he kind of, because if you think about it, that show was back in the 80s. That was, 30 years ago? He was in his 50s when that show was on. So, hey, there's still hope for me to host a game show someday, right?
We need to get you a sparkly jacket.
I have a sparkly jacket.
Well, of course you do, Rocky. When were you Columbia?
Birdcage Cinemas, late 90s, early 2000s.
You seriously were Columbia?
I did Columbia one time, but I wore somebody else's. I wore Jessica's jacket or somebody else's back in from
I'm
those
just
days.
trying to picture you as Columbia. With those
Well, I was
shorts.
walking down the street just to having a thing.
Okay. I guess if I could do Dr. Scott,
do
you can do Columbia.
Do you want me to tap dance right now for you?
No.
Quick, somebody call her.
But
You
you
getting
can
a tap
make
dance?
you can make the squeal noise.
Hmm?
Eddie! Eddie!
Sadly, there's people listening to this show that have never seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's your homework assignment,
Poor
everybody.
children. Watch it and make sure you have friends with you who have seen it so that you at least won't get called out as a virgin at the real show.
All right, we are going to go to the phones right now and take a call because we do have a caller on the line. Hi, you're on Orange Launch Radio. Who's this?
This is Raginator.
Hey, Raginator. Nice to see you. What's up?
Nice to see you, too. Since, how long since you had Justin TV?
Justin TV. When were those days? That was like the mid 300s.
Those are the
were
other
those
house.
episodes. That was 2 studios ago.
Yes.
So it was a while ago.
It's been a while. But anyway, a couple really quick random questions. Dark Sakura already knows. I mentioned this to her on Steam's chat, I think yesterday. I just signed up for Origin yesterday, and now one of the first games I'm probably going to plan on buying on there would be Mass Effect 3. And
do it.
A worthy choice.
Yeah. Now, I know you guys are big fans of the series.
No,
and-
us? Loki hates it for what it's worth.
Get all the games if you don't have them.
Yeah.
You can't just start
But,
on 3.
Yeah. Now, I'm just starting to really get into the series myself, and I've just barely started playing the first game, and actually I haven't played the third one yet, but that's besides the point. Now, the question is, how is the multiplayer on Mass Effect 3? Is it any good, or...
That's the best part of the game.
It's really good, Raginator, and the reason why is because they focused on co-op instead of competitive. In fact, there is no competitive multiplayer in Mass Effect 3, which, I could see where some people might see that as a bummer, which, is fine. Maybe that'll be in the next Mass Effect game, but it is all co-op. And essentially what it is that it's 4 of you defending a base. You defend a base against 10 waves of aliens.
And different missions for each wave, too.
Yes, the waves 3, 6, and 10 have special missions, and that might be... like hold this point or escort this drone.
Or carry this item so you can't run while you're carrying it.
So you have to cooperate, and that's why I think the multiplayer it attracts people like myself and Dark Sakura who don't usually play shooter type multiplayers, is because it fosters an environment of helping people. And the people that are going to be like, man, you suck and da 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 da, they don't usually play on beginner anyway. They don't play on the bronze matches. They're all in golds and
the
platinums.
bronze matches are more fun anyway.
Yeah, and I mean...
You just sort of fuck around from time to time.
Yeah, and if somebody's being that big of an asshat, then you leave and they're fucked.
And we've done silver matches anyway.
Yeah.
And it was pretty fun. Remember that one time we tried a platinum match? And we almost made it through one wave?
Yeah, I know. Platinum matches are pretty scary. But yeah, there's a lot to that. Now, here's my only concern, Raginator. Here's my concern. I'm going to be real with you, because you're getting into Mass Effect 3 a little late in the game. I worry, because EA has this tendency, when they got a new game coming out, they're going to yank the servers on the old game.
Yeah,
I think you've got at least a good year left, because this is all the Mass Effect we have right now. Until they announce Mass Effect Next, I can't call it Mass Effect 4 because they say it's going to be something else. But until we know what Mass Effect Next really is, then I can't really sit here one way or the other and say, when these multiplayer servers are going to go down. So I think he's got a good year left.
How about, though, we set a night that we run you through the ropes of multiplayer some night?
You're very kind. It's going to have to be, for me, it's going to have to be a couple weeks because I'm moving, so I can't volunteer for that.
I gave you my origin. I don't care who knows it. It's Kuro Tsubasa, like my Tumblr.
But I bet you will find some other VOG people that'll help you out. Maybe you guys can convince Bobby Blackwolf to finally use his copy.
Yeah, Bobby. Play with us.
Yeah, actually, I did send out 4 or 5 invites already. One person already accepted. I'm just waiting for the rest of the people to log in.
I haven't signed into Origin in like 5 months, so if I'm one of them, I'll get around to it eventually.
I didn't sign into Origin for a little while, and I'm actually while I'm trying to finish my 17th. Actually, no, I'm on my 18th playthrough of Mass Effect 3 right now, and when I finish that one, then I'm going to be going to Dragon Age 2 to give it another good run through again.
Yeah, I kind of think of it. I saw Dragon Age, listed under online store, and I don't know a whole lot about that series above and beyond maybe 1 or 2 trailers that I may have seen on PlayStation Network. But would you say that Dragon Age is a good series to play if you like role-playing games?
I love Dragon Age 2. It's a lot more combat-oriented, but there's plenty of good role-play elements in it.
I couldn't get into it the way that Alan really got into it, and Shane, one of my best friends, is really into it. Like, I couldn't get into it the way they did. Maybe, you know what, though? But again, Mass Effect was a game I tried, and I just didn't get back to until like years later, and I was like, this is the best thing ever. So I think I just need to go back and try Dragon Age again.
I kept starting the first Dragon Age and kept stopping it, and then I just picked up Dragon Age 2 and just played the crap out of it, and then got to this one part that I couldn't beat because I was a stupid idiot and brought Fenris into this one dream level. Fenris, by the way, is awesome, and you want to have him on your good side. But then I went back and played through on PC, once I started having those problems with my hand, and I've beaten the game on PC, and I'm actually going to be kind of skipping the first Dragon Age again and going back to Dragon Age 2.
Raginator, I feel like in some ways we've seen you grown as a gamer as you've been listening to OLR. I know you've been listening for a while now, but I remember when you first would call this show, you'd be talking about Nintendo 64 games and stuff that was really classics, and now you're getting up to games from like last year. So I'm impressed, Raginator.
Yeah, honestly, as weird as this sounds, my PlayStation 3 being stolen a year and a half ago is actually a good thing in a sense. Yeah, I know it sounds weird, but before my PlayStation 3 was stolen, I would never in a million years consider PC gaming. Now that it's gone, I kind of begrudgingly signed up for Steam and
now it's a whole new
Origin.
world. There you go. All right. Well, Raginator, I'm going to let you go so we can get more calls, but have fun on Origin, and I will try to jump in the game and kill some of the Reapers.
You'll learn why they call it Lolorigin.
All right. Bye, buddy. Take care.
Yep, you too. Take care.
All right. That was Raginator on our Skype line at 1-877-GAME-OLR, or a username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. And Bobby Blackwolf in chat saying, I haven't opened Origin in a year. It was SimCity. And apparently Bobby Blackwolf and Shane having a discussion about that they can't like the same things, apparently, which is why Bobby doesn't like Mass Effect.
They're playing Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, very, very good point.
Oh, actually, what Shane just said.
Yeah, Shane just said that in the chat. So, but to be fair, Shane, Bobby always makes fun of Endgame, which is all you signed in to do.
I need to fucking catch up. I just hit level 34. Feel like I'm being so slow.
Oh, it's all right. It's all
right.
I
took my time with WoW too.
You know what though? But the converse of that. By the way, again, the Skype line is open at 1-877-GAME-OLR. Username on Skype, Orange Launch Radio. The converse of that, Dark Sakura, is that when you burn through the content too fast, like where I'm at, I only sign into Raid, and then outside of that, I'm like, what else am I going to do? Should I level another class? I'm over it. I'm going to go play Diablo. Click, 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 click.
Yeah, I mean, but I also started another character so I could play with Junami.
Oh, nice.
On the work server.
Shane's been really trying to get me to go back to Final Fantasy 11, which apparently they've made all these quality of life changes. You can just zip through a lot of the content you used to have to find parties for and all this stuff. So,
well, the only change they need to make is make it go free to play.
Right? That's the one change they need to make, and I'll be on Final Fantasy 11 tomorrow. You hear that, Shane? Make it free to play, and you got it. I'm back. But I don't know. It's Square Enix. Do you see Square Enix doing a free-to-play MMO like that? I mean, I guess they have free-to-play mobile games.
They'll monetize the crap out of it, though. They'll have you buying Gil and all sorts of garbage like that.
Yeah, some of them are pretty awful. Well, and I talk about this with World of Warcraft, is that I always say that Blizzard should just give the vanilla game away and then sell the expansions. And as far as Final Fantasy XI goes, I think they could do that there as well, is that they could give away the vanilla game and then just sell the expansions or something like that.
Let's see. I have a problem that if I get to endgame in 14, I'm going to get bored again and then go back to Space Goats when it comes out for WoW. And Dan's like, no, but I don't know.
Unfortunately, the listeners are not able to hear my voice right now because our server went down. It's not us. It's
Unfortunately.
The actual, yeah.
No.
So I can put a call out for calls, but we're not going to get any. So I guess I can go to Twitter at this point. Hopefully we'll get through at some point. God, that pisses me off.
I get pissed off too. But
I've about had it with this hosting server.
So have I. We need to tell them to
getting
STFU.
a little ridiculous. And I think we've given them the stern email before that they are not to do reboots on our server on Sunday night, and yet here we are. So something's going to happen with that.
They're going to lose some business.
Meanwhile, I'm going to our Twitter. And SG100 Matt tweeted us the story about Jeff Edwards, so a lot of people thinking about Jeff Edwards. Our friend Marin Marvel, Tiara, tweeted and said, OLR is going up against Neilty-Sun? What is that? And Cosmos right now.
Oh, because Cosmos is back with...
Neil Tyson.
Yeah.
And says, sorry, guys, got to get my science nerd on. This is why we podcast the show. I can forgive.
We're back, by the way.
I can forgive. Oh, good, we're back. You guys missed my little rant where I've basically said, as far as this server host of ours goes, I have had it officially. Yeah, we've reconnected. We're streaming. We're good.
Right.
We're good.
Although, honestly, I'm going to go back and download the torrent of Cosmos so I can watch it. Because, man, I grew up with Carl Sagan and Cosmos, you know? And what was that show that had that old guy that would walk on, like, a path of stars or something in outer space? Do you remember that show, Rob? It was like this astronomy show.
Mm-mm.
The fuck show was that? Oh my god! Because I used to watch that show. I'm like, oh my god, he's in space. And then I got older, but I kept watching it. It was a really good show. God help me, chat room. I don't remember what this show was, and I'm old.
In response to last week's show, Piker Uno said, Euro Truck Simulator 2 is a great game, no joke. And I did get both zombie DLC packs for Train Simulator. They actually have a story. Act deft on a couple things from last week. My Little Pony Fighting His Magic Tribute Edition is released by fans. Note, this is not done by Main 6, the original devs. Oh, maybe that was a story for last week's show, or maybe that was submitted for this week. I don't know anymore. It says 6 days. So, put out one more call for calls. 1-877-GAME-OLR, our username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if our little upsy and downsies with the server.
I want someone to remind me what the fuck that show was, because it's really pissing me off.
Describe it one more time.
It had like some old guy with, not old, but silver-haired guy, kind of not portly, but kind of
fluffy,
and oh my god, no, it wasn't Harry Carey Space: The Infinite Frontier, and he would wear like these sweaters with his collar poking out and would just like talk about space. It was an astronomy show.
No, it wasn't Mr. Wizard?
No, it wasn't Mr. Wizard.
Mr. Wizard wasn't fluffy either.
It wasn't Mr. Wizard. Mr. Wizard hated kids.
Yes, I heard that. That's got to be an underground legend thing, though.
But he'd like walk up into space and everything on like his trail of stars. Now I don't freaking remember what it was called. That was an awesome show.
All right. I'll put one more call out. 1-877-GAME-OLR. Username on Skype, Orange Lounge Radio. Meanwhile, Loki, do you have any last minute stories for us tonight? I haven't called on you yet.
I do, actually. There's going to be an update to Just Cause 2 multiplayer, and you remember that mod? It allows you to play like thousands of people online at one time. Well, they've added a few things. Earthquakes, real-time vehicle color changing. You can teleport. Gibbs on death. You can also do a Back to the Future style car teleportation. Hats, heat-seeking missiles, and cars that drive on the water. Plus, you can also blend objects together, so they have a picture of an airplane combined with a whale. Good stuff.
All right. I had a call, and then they hung up, because I had them on hold while Loki was finishing that thought. Darsaka, you found your show?
Yes, it was Stargazers.
Mm-hmm.
With Jack Foley Horkheimer. I'm double checking that this is him, but the show used to be called Star Hustler.
So that was our buddy VX Jason XV who Google food that for you.
I found it, but then I went back and saw that he did it.
Okay.
Star Hustler sounds like an awesome sci-fi series.
It does.
There's not a picture of him. Crap. But it was a cool show. He died in Florida in 2010.
Oh, sad. What a sad ending to that story. Any other last minute stories, Loki, while we wait to see if somebody calls back? Or
that was it. It was him, and that was the show. Oh my god.
No, I didn't have anything else.
All right. Well, it is after 9 o'clock, so I guess I'm going to go ahead and shut down the Skype line and wrap things up for the night. Sorry to those that didn't get through, but if you want to email us, participate at orangelaunchradio.com is the place to send those emails. Once again, we will not be back next week. We'll have something taped. So podcast listeners, nothing will actually change for you except a plan that the show will be a little shorter next week. Live folks, you will hear that show debut Sunday night here on the network, and then Starboard Power coupling in their preview spot right after us next Sunday, and then we'll be back live in 2 weeks. Everybody, please cross your fingers and toes for me. I need all the happy thoughts I can. Not only that the move goes well, but that the internet works very well in the new place, and we're able to get everything set up.
Because if not, fuck you, Comcast.
Yeah, because if not, I don't know what's going to happen. I just want to warn people. There's the possibility.
We'll be in my living room.
Yeah, there's a possibility if things go wrong, we could be gone for more than a week. So I just want to prepare everybody for that. But trust us, we will do all that we can to be back ASAP. That's just my disclaimer in my whole... I love you guys that tune in and listen to every minute of every show. So trust me, we will be back ASAP just in case. Meanwhile, that is it. It's about time to wrap up another week of the show.
You know what? You said meanwhile, and it made me think of Meanwhile at the Hall of Justice. And Becky and I passed...
The Hall of Justice?
The Hall of Justice.
In Susanville?
Not in Susanville, but up in one of those little small towns. And
nice.
We wanted to go back and take a picture of it.
Nice.
But we also passed a red phone booth.
That's awesome.
Like an old school red phone booth.
Nice.
That's cool.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for another episode of Orange Launch Radio. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in every week and supporting our show. We appreciate it. Always say, just if you like the show, help spread the word. Leave a nice review on iTunes. Stitcher's really great, too. We need more good reviews there. Also, tell a friend or 2 or 5 or 50 about the show and help us spread the word. That is all we ask. And spread the word about all independent broadcasting and all the great hard work. I just gave a shout-out to, 5 other podcast buddies of mine, and I know there's a lot of other hardworking people out there at the Voice of Geeks Network and other networks out there, and just everybody that works hard.
Also, eat your vegetables. Because I believe in your health.
Loki, I really hope that we're able to see you in a couple weeks, but if not, I understand. We'll do the Skype thing a little longer. But do you have any final thoughts for our listeners tonight?
More people need to play on the Minecraft server, including me.
Including me. I've been very failing in getting on
I'll try to log in tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. My final thought for tonight is I at least hope the internet holds up better at the new place. And Dark Soccer, last but not least, your final thought.
Here's my new catchphrase. Question everything.
All right. That's going to do it. We will see you next time from our brand new studio in 2 weeks. Until then, good night.
You've been listening to Orange Lounge Radio. Orange Lounge Radio is a production of OLR Studios. To join us for a live show, tune into VogNetwork.com Sunday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. The views and opinions expressed in this program do not necessarily reflect those of the staff of Orange Lounge Radio or Vog Network, but you know they were all still true. See you next week.